after 2 close losses. Their record is incredible under Craig McRae, with games decided by under a goal. But in the last 4 games, things have changed a little bit, haven't they? And we've seen those 2 close losses. It hasn't harmed them too much to the bigger picture. Tom Hawkins and Matt Hill, who I'm pleased to say is alongside me again on a Sunday afternoon. A little bit overcast, Matty. Hopefully the rain is going to clear and we're going to be in for a good one. You were here and called that thriller against Fremantle last week. Any concerns for the Pies?
Oh, look, I think it's a good opportunity to steady the ship, isn't it? They're up against a team, Tomahawk, that, well, Richmond have won their last 2. A little bit of a confidence booster, but you'd think Collingwood could get it done today.
You would think so on paper. They certainly haven't put a side away this year. They've had a 91 win earlier on in the season against Port Adelaide, but you'd love to see for them and their confidence moving forward, not that they lack any of it, just to really be able to put the nail in the coffin if they get the opportunity. And Richmond, they've been a real surprise packet. I know they've only won the 5 games, but you can't help but be impressed with what Adam Uze, their senior players, and the youth that's coming through that we've seen throughout season 2025.
Just a reminder again about the Alana and Madeline Foundation and the amazing work that they've done. Well, to Mekak there with the toss of the coin, it turned an unspeakable tragedy into just helping as many people as possible. And you can play your part. So 50 seconds before the opening bounce here at the MCG, just repeating the late changes for either team. Sadly for Richmond, Tim Taranto has been in incredible form this year and probably well and truly on the way to being their best and fairest. Jordan Lewis won't be there today to partner up with the experienced Hopper and Presti in the middle of the ground. And Scott Pendlebury, I think Collingwood brought in about 580 odd games of experience this week, but they've lost it in 1 player.
It's unusual. I don't think we'll see that too often in the years ahead. But you're right. Adam Uze touched on it. Camden McIntosh will probably play more through the midfield. We understand he's been playing the bulk of this season on the wing, so you lose a bit of experience around there. But you look out there, Presti's in there, Hopper's in there, so you've still got some great experience to try and nullify the influence of Collingwood.
All right, we're set to go on an overcast Sunday afternoon. It's 16th versus 1st. It's the 16th place Richmond, though, that comes in with a form of 2 wins, and the top team getting into the round, Collingwood, who have lost their last 2. Have to win today, of course, to get back to the top spot at the end of this round. And they do it with hands out of defence. The Tigers are attempt to. Schultz pats it down, and Elliott just tosses it up. Mychek coming one way, Schultz the other. That was not going to be an easy ball to mark for anyone.
Well, that's twice Mychek had Lipinski at first come back into his space and Dacos come back into his space, as we see there. Isaac Quaynor on the bench. Sarah.
He's just been in the hands of doctors and physios, getting a bit of work done to his finger. Looks okay. Early drama, though. We've only just begun.
Well, in the warm-up. 25 seconds in. So Nankervis won it down. Ross pats it out to Hopper, round the corner, leaves defensive 50. Bolter went for it at the back. And now a little bit of run with Green inboard. Hands towards Mans. A little bit slippery out there with that light rain before the match. Came out towards Perryman, scrapping for it. He was looking for Allen, who was standing on the boundary line. So nothing as far as insufficient intent is concerned, and a throw in.
But, Matty, even that will be the challenge, because what Collingwood allow you to do if you're a high half forward from Richmond, they allow you to get up the ground. So you've got to use the numbers, but also be prepared to kick to grass and that sort of kick-chase type of game, because the Collingwood defenders will hang back as spares.
A lot of pointing going on behind the ball for the Pies, getting set. If it does happen to squirt out Richmond's way, we'll have to wait and see from that point of view.
Just looking at the forward setup for both teams, they both seem to be holding 6 forwards back, so a lot of space in and around the stoppage. The guys like Dacos to be able to work over his direct opponent.
Quaynor looks okay for now. Craig McRae, as always, coaching from downstairs. Of course, he coached Richmond's VFL team to a premiership way back when in 2019. Here's Nick Dacos. Just had to get his bearings.
And found it. We can find Houston if he can come in board. He's taken off forward.
Fine, Schultz, and Houston is in the picture there, not for long. Miller has been the hallmark, as we discussed pre-match, of the Tigers this year. They do have a relatively experienced defence compared to what they've got up front. Steely Green. Rioli is the target. Oh, and he was perfectly placed to take the mark. You can hear the gasps of disappointment from the Richmond fans. Crisp out to Allen. the youngest pie today through Nick Dacos. And then they work it again.
He's already up to 4.
Yep,
Nick
had time
Dacos.
just to sort out what was ahead before he kicked it off the left boot, if you don't mind. Through came Dan Curvis. Elliott scouting the pack. Hoskin Elliott was potentially the target. Remember, it lands in between them, and it lands with Nick Floston.
He's had a wonderful year this year, Nick Floston.
Floston's kick to the contest. Doing well, Bolter. And then a trundling ball inside 50. Scrap for it, fall over the top, but Pies have the numbers. Cameron was a close hand, little chip to crisp, and they're out.
His fall actually made some great space. If the kick from Noah Bolter had have been a 50, 60-metre kick, he would have had an uncontested mark inside 50.
Crisp in the Hoskin Elliott direction. Floston at the back. It's in a foot race now with Hoskin Elliott. That's right up against the boundary line and out. We talk about the young players for Richmond, Jordan and Tom, but their leaders have had good years as well and been a little bit injury-free, so they can help the young lads.
Oh, absolutely. Around the ball, like we look at their captain no further than Nank. He's been exceptional. Big body, big presence.
Hey, big jewelers are in the middle against Cameron. There's Nick Dacos again through his side bottom, and Tom Mitchell, another returning experienced Collingwood player and premiership player. Back inside 50 it goes. Houghton, Ross.
Yeah, so that is the challenge with coaches. So they're holding their forwards back, Richmond, but when you give Nick Dacos so much room to move in and around the stoppages, already up to the 5 disposals.
I wonder whether Ross will be employed, as we talked about last 3 weeks. He spent time on the gun midfielders. Ali Green last week, dragged in.
Yep.
Merritt and Holmes the week before.
Yeah, I think the first lever you pull is probably a run with to keep your 6 forwards ahead of the ball to make Collingwood accountable. And if that doesn't work, try and saturate the stoppage through congestion and numbers.
So Tim Membry, who's closing in himself on 200 games, would have had 7 if Pendlebury had played 200 games out there today. Just had his baby, of course, and perhaps heading into a final series. And who knows, at a third club, could he finally become a premiership player? Tim Membry, right from the 50 and right through the middle. Plenty of reasons to smile for Tim Membry.
Absolutely. He's such an important piece to this Collingwood forward line. He brings a lot of experience with him from St Kilda and Sydney Swans early in his career, but such a mixture of options in the forward line. So he is a player that can get up the ground. He marks the ball overhead, can win it on the ground, but also a beautiful finisher. We've seen him have his goal-kicking woes at times throughout his career, but, I mean, that was in wet conditions from 50. That was a beautiful finish.
And he's come from a week off, of course. His last 4 games, he's kicked 2 goals straight. In fact, that is 10 goals in a row without it behind. So lots of reasons to smile, as we said. Ted William Membry is the newcomer, the youth policy at home.
Mitchell flicks it out to Josh Dacos. Another entry inside 50 for Collingwood. Bouncing football. Broad met it, came out to Lipinski. Dodges and weaves and back to Josh Dacos. Long penetrating kick in the Hoskin Elliott direction. Vlost at the front. And it's going to be a free kick, and it's going to Richmond.
Yeah, he did well there, Vlossen, just to create separation from Hoskin Elliott. So Hoskin Elliott couldn't have potentially shepherded the ball over the line. Holding up okay in defence at the moment, Richmond.
And Nick Foster never get in the road of you, Tom?
He's very, very fiery, Nick Voston. So occasionally, never shirked a contest.
No.
He's tough as they come.
High on the way out. Good contest from Crisp. Rioli on the waiters tray. Along the line to Sonsi. Off the back of his best game for the Tigers. He's sprayed the kick, unfortunately, going forward.
Yeah, but even that kick there, although it goes out of bounds, that's the kick that they need to prepare to take. Whether that's a 1v1 or a 1v2 in favour of Collingwood, you still need to take ground against this football side.
So even with that, like in the conditions that we're playing, yes, Collingwood have great stability behind the ball, but at times we shouldn't be afraid to kick it to grass.
Dean, 11th game as a pie. Along the ground, Sullivan's hat kick deflects off the body of Dan Curvis. And now Richmond progress it down the line. Taken by Dean. It's back from where it came from to Nick Dacos. Into the middle of the G. Moore could have raffled it there, and then outside 50 towards Hoskin Elliott, who marks just inside the arc.
So that opportunity comes from the intercept mark, but we're seeing Nick Dacos start in the middle of the ground.
So short to Elliott, kicked 2 last week. Of course, Tim Membry was the most prolific goal kicker at the start of the year, but racing past him, Jamie Elliott with 46 goals of his own in 2025. 6 perched inside the top 3 in the Coleman. So Elliott into the field of play, looking for their second goal. It's glanced to the right. Is it still in? No. Bobbles over for a behind.
Short, hasty. Moore lined that up, but just missed it. Bolter. Quainer. Down the line, Allen. Underground, clever. Moore. Ball out wide. Kinski's left is skewing out of bounds on the foot.
I mean, that kick was under pressure, but it was a little bit like Collingwood last week. I think the way that they went inside their own forward 50, they just bombed it too long to a contest and to a spot and didn't necessarily look for the lead or for other options going inside forward 50.
What do you think of Bolter playing forward? He's done it 1.5 games of his 8 so far.
Yeah, I think it's probably more to challenge Darcy Moore aerially.
Well, he'll be nice and fired up, Darcy, after last week.
Yeah.
Trying to deal with Patrick Voss. Instead of 4 of the 6 goals to the prancing pony. And here is Bolter.
You've got to slow now. You've got Rioli inside 50 at 1v3. So you just give yourself time to equalise forward of the ball.
He was, well, he got a 3-quarter kick in the end where they had some representation. Oh, there we go! There's number 1 from Morris. Let's count them. He picks it up. The handball into the corner for Green. And top of the square. And again they will go as Tresize takes the mark to Morris Rioli. We could be in for a treat.
We might see that on Geordie's top 5 at half-time.
No, that won't make the top.
We could do a
Just
Rioli
about.
top 5.
Yeah.
Jeez, I think Tom Mitchell got a shock. Terrific forward-half tackle.
And he comes off. He understood the moment to make sure he could soak up the applause. Tresize meantime, just the 1 goal for the season. Been subbed the last 2 weeks, but he's kicking an early one this afternoon to give the reward that was required for such a tremendous tackle from Morris Rioli.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I mean, that's his game. We touched on it early in the coverage, but a young side, Richmond, coming in, playing against one of the best, and one thing that you can control is your pressure that you apply and your intent to get after the ball carrier, and we see it early, which is such a good sign for this young side. Rioli being able to take Mitchell down, but still staying involved in the contest. A chain of handballs, a wet, miserable day at the MCG, and we're able to find a nice centering kick to a player that finds himself relatively free, sliding down from the wing, and a lovely finish. That's a great start.
It was a great kick by Green, wasn't it? Across the body, had to get there quick.
So a good early spark for the Tigers. As Sidebottom and Mitchell affect the tackle on Prestia and will go again.
Missing Seth Campbell today, unfortunately, the Tigers, so Steely Green has an important role to play, doesn't he?
So the ball comes out towards the half-forward flank. Young is the first one there, but Elliott was too quick for him, and then Sullivan's hands smashed away by Broad, and a boundary throw-in.
Also, Bolter playing forward shows that the faith in Miller and Tyler Young since his return. In his 2 games, hasn't conceded a goal yet. It's been amazing. Quick kick in from Cameron, putting pressure on Floston. Away from Banks, Sullivan, force-feeding it to Myercheck. And he's going to get it back, care of Lipinski. It didn't look pretty in flight. But it's a magnificent result. That's beautiful with it, Brody. And the Pies have 2 goals, 1. The Tigers the lone goal at the other end of the ground. And the Magpies lead by 7 points.
They're certainly all laughing at the contact that he made through the ball. But this is just relentless pressure and not allowing the ball to get stuck in another stoppage and forward momentum. Terrific goal off the inside of his shoe. It just didn't allow enough time to to be able to spoil it across the line. So you take your opportunities forward to the ball from a stoppage. Wow, that was a mung.
He might have invented a new kick with that.
Yeah, you got a name for it, Anthony?
We'll keep working on it.
No, one of the last 5 clearances, Collingwood. So that just means the games get played in their half, just building this pressure.
The Mayo Chook.
In the end,
Think again.
any landing's a good landing. As Prestia scampers away, swings it wide. Green in a foot race with Quaynor. In fact, it was Sonzi. And Quaynor beat him to the punch. Nick Dacos out to Long. Mitchell, side bottom, low one towards the Myercheck direction. It's going to be advantage played, is it? No, it's coming back to Myercheck.
Yeah, I think it's a good decision by Long. He was only going through congestion, so it would have been really difficult to find a free target inside forward 50. A lot of Richmond plays in the D50 now.
So Myercheck wanting the cavalry to arrive. He kicks towards the top of the square. Elliott not in the right spot. Crisp just mungs a kick back towards Broad, who's in the last line. And this is going to be dangerous. There's pies everywhere. Quaynor.
Yeah, I mean, it was a poor kick, clearly, because it went to the in the lap of Quaynor, but you quite often see sides come the skinny side, which would have been the closest side to the bench and not the open side, where your forwards tend to set up. And so they're able to make a contest. He chose to go to the open side, and that's the risk you take.
Hasn't kicked a goal all year, Isaac. Had that early issue with the finger. He's going to be kicking right on the 50. And it's going to prop up right next to the point post, and eventually it's tapped over for a boundary throw-in.
And at the Myercheck side, Jordan.
There we go. Who texts you that?
It was hardly a check side, though.
No, well, that's true. Okay, we'll go back to the drawing board. Pies lead by 7. They have the territory at the moment. They've been winning the vast majority of the clearances. Sims doing some rucking and setting them out of there. Banks, wobbling ball back into the middle, batted away by Nankervis. Houghton was there but couldn't get his hands on the footy. Dacos back to Maynard, who sprays it wide to Allen and then over the top to Quaynor.
Once again, just has to be patient. So many Richmond plays in the defensive 50, so that's a reluctant to go there long. That's probably why. So I think that's the connection. So the connection piece has been spoken about a lot by Craig McRae. That was just it just didn't think through that particular play. Long, a little bit more composure. Sometimes you need to bring the ball back into the corridor to allow your forwards time to work their direct opponent over.
His forward half disposals represents the territory and the opportunities they have created. Josh Dacos back outside and inside again. Ruskin Elliott wasn't quite sure whether to fly or not. The tall timber was all Richmond's. Boston with a high ball, gets it well outside. Here comes Darcy Moore. Doesn't take the mark, but he directed it to Allen. Fed it to Ned Long. His last kick wasn't anything to write home about, but he was about to put that on a postcard, but not quite.
I don't mind that from Darcy Moore. You know, I think what he doesn't want is a soft drop from a mark that's being relatively slippery out there.
So Boston has a little scamper outside of the square and then goes long to the congestion. Fist up to McIntosh. Little kick works. Nankervis scrambles one. It's play on the call. Obviously touched off the boot. Maynard wide to Quaynor.
That's why Darcy Moore can get so proactive in front of the ball, though. He's got guys like Maynard. He's got guys like Perryman back behind him, McStay at times.
So Quaynor. Kick to the arc. Up they go. Nankervis with the fist. Was looking for Prestium. Grabbing it, though, was side bottom. They grab him, and it's holding the football.
They can come to the boundary side, the bench side if they want. So Collingwood already set up defensively so quick.
So Houghton kicks out in the Sonzi direction. Quaynor just with a deft little tap as that light rain becomes a bit heavier on true centre wing.
Yeah, they missed an opportunity, right, Geordie, to come out the open side to be able to use a couple of uncontested marks, because you don't want to invite Collingwood's pressure by putting pace on the game and going to one-on-ones.
McStay Straight away to side bottom into the middle. Dacos was the meat in the tiger sandwich, and Houghton did well to get his hands on the footy, and they can work it all the way out to this MCC members' side. Brown's delivery into Bolter. He took a couple, but he hangs on eventually. We know it's a huge kick, but maybe not this time.
Probably Dan Curvis.
He puts the full body into the kick. Sims against Moore, kept him honest. Underneath it, Allen. Maynard in hand, just gets the kick away and directed it well to Hoskin Elliott. Use those long sleeves to advantage. Takes the grab.
Not too sure what Noah Bolter was thinking with that inside 50.
Probably not the first time we've actually seen that this year.
But Nan Curvis had Quaynor in the pocket, just sitting on his head. I'd like to see, they've played quite skinny, maybe that's conditions, but certainly their advantage once again is on the open side. So much, or so many Richmond players and congestion you can see there. That's where you've got to try and pick your way through.
So Maynard, Membry set himself, just couldn't quite grab it with the one mitt. Now he's under a little bit of pressure. Retreats back to Allen. And then the fists only to Vlosten. Young throws it on the boot. Wobbly one. It's good enough, though. Mansell. Now that's bobbled out of his hands. As he got a little bit of contact from Maynard, but no 50. Spreads it out wide. Sonzi.
Ball's been in Collingwood's half, 70%. Inside 50s, 12-5.
Trainer looking for McIntosh. Late spoil from Dean, good enough. Sonzi, was he taken high or did Allen get him legally? It was legal, and Allen can race off with it to Hoskin Elliott.
Well, after a pause, slices up Jamie Elliott. And he turned to long. It's an open 50. Membry to the left, Schultz to the right, and well anticipated by Froston. And the ball behaves itself out. Well, how's he going to work this? Well, two go down, Mansell and Chris, both the wingers, tapped back by Maynard. Good collect, Steely Green. Down the line he goes. Bolter, cornered by Moore. Got help in it, Tresice, and he turns away from Maynard, and as a result can drop it in the pocket. And speaking of drop it, unfortunately, that's what Steely did.
Well worked. I really like the kick out of back half, just along the ground, didn't give them a chance. We've got Sonzi injured there, but that's a mark that just needs to get taken by Green, even in these conditions.
Hopper wanting a free kick, nothing doing. Myercheck pressured. Miller going in over the top. Maynard just scrambled it out to Myercheck, then to Schultz, and then that trundling kick it'll do in these conditions, but it was trapped well by Brown. He goes back to Short, then Short's kick towards forward 50, and in the end Green with the fist and out of play.
Yeah, they're holding up well at the moment, and especially the Richmond back six, just really stable, setting up really well, and repelling a lot of the Collingwood ball that's been coming in.
But he's coming in now towards Cameron, who wins the tap. Crisp, McIntosh, the hands to Hopper, and on return, it's forced back over the line and out of bounds. These two big clubs, of course, it's the 6th year in a row these teams have only met once in a season, which seems unusual, doesn't it, when the big clubs so often seem to meet twice most times. Last time they met round 20 last year. It was a Dacos fest, but the final margin was only 26 points. Clear kick, Schultz's hands were sharp to Lipinski, and they're on the move again. Broad takes care of business against Membry in the air, and now on the ground. They continue to scrap it out. Short was the first there in the line of assistance to Miller. Eventually got the handball under control. Ross to the inside. A little bit awkward, a lot awkward, in fact, for Banks. Knocked back by McIntosh. That was handy to Young. Slapdash kick, but he knew where Sonsi was, and Sonsi knew where the ball was, and he delivers to the marching Bolter. And sliding Bolter. Another throw in.
In the last 10 years, Collingwood has won just once from 7 matches against Richmond whilst they've been in the top 8. It's an extraordinary stat, as it's punched down only as far as side bottom, and then what a good grab that was. Green, he just saw Josh Dacos, said, I'll have a bit of that.
Well, and that's part of the reason. I mean, Collingwood haven't been able to penetrate this Richmond defence. So then what that causes inside your own defensive 50 is indecision and allows your small forwards to get to work and don't give up on the play.
2022 draftee, debuted in round 11 last year. Steely Green, his name inspired by the band Steely Dan. He comes in from 48 metres and he shanks it.
Mac and Broad just going onto the bike. Got a bit of pain in his leg being in the hands of doctors and trainers.
Thank you, Sarah.
He's been solid early. Nathan Broad, 4 intercept possessions. Lost him with the 6 already.
Eyes on the way out. Houston's kick had reached to the wing and found the target in Cameron. Little nonchalant from ground level handball through Schultz. And now Lipinski, he's identified the one-on-one. Elliott, he had Floston where he wanted, and from the boundary, he goes central to Will Hoskin. Elliott, 2 Tigers there. Brown and Sonsi did the job in the air, but Ed Allen sees a way home. Can't quite hit the target, and Dan McStay gave him a little visual reminder that he was a loader under 10 at the top of the square.
He's been busy, Allen, though. It's up to the 9 disposals, leading all possession. Getters on the ground. Nick Dacos with the 7.
Loston goes out to Houghton. Of course, son of Collingwood and Carlton player Trent. Another Ollie was on the St Kilda list for some time as well, as Houghton's long ball over the head of Rioli. And Sonsi saw it over.
So Collingwood's pressure has been really good. They're up over 200. Richmond's pressure is sitting about 165, so that can certainly lift.
So throw in. Dan Curvis with the big fend down, and in the end it was too hot for Allen, and another throw in.
You'd be pretty pleased if you're Richmond, though, giving up 14 inside 50s for just the 2 goals.
Cameron. This little bunt down in the Dacos direction, bit of volleyball work there. And side bottom, slaps it to Cameron, then Nick Dacos. Off a step, was a classy kick in the end to Hoskin Elliott, who shoved one right in the back, gets a free kick, and then his little worm burner is going to wobble towards McStay. The gather was really clever in these conditions. Kicks to a 50-50 over the head of Elliott, then Schultz was taken by Short and over.
How about that pickup from McStay? I was just about to say Nick Dacos was one of the best wet weather players I've seen in handling it, but that is very classy by the big man. You don't see too many 6'5" players do that.
You'll be happy with the comparison in terms of winning the footy, Tom. On the throw, after it around a bit, and Curvis. McStay quickly out to Dacos, onto the boot in a flash, and he knew the moment in the boot that was online. And the Magpies getting a little bit more return for effort with the late goal from Nick Dacos.
Yeah, there he is, Dan McStay. I was just talking about him, clean pickup in using that comparable player in Nick Dacos, who I compared him with earlier, but a lovely finish. And it's going to be that sort of day for a guy like Dan McStay. You've seen him play multiple roles, playing forward ruck, gets back to the footy, stays involved, and that's what he's got to build his game on, as does any key position player today. But that is a great follow-up and another reason why they like him so much in this football club.
Jeez, it doesn't give you an indication on how wet it is out there. If you just see what Nick Dacos was able to do. Pick the ball up in a matter of seconds, put it onto his boot and score the goal. So if in doubt, go to Darcy Cameron down the line and go to Nick Dacos inside the forward 50.
And it is considerable rain at the moment as Nick Dacos goes the soccer to Membry, then his handball retreating back to side. We come from nowhere, got the kick away. Must have heard him coming. Hoskin Elliott flicks it back. Membry, and then his flick back. There's no one there. Hopper was the man there, and then he just did some darts and then kicks to the outer side. Mansell couldn't take the mark, and then Cameron went in and it came off his boot, which was fortuitous.
With a player like Rioli, the crowd help and sometimes hinder. I reckon they helped steal side bottom that occasion. He knew something was up.
So Houston with the football. as Collingwood reload with a long one. Attracts a crowd. Hoskin Elliott punched away from him. And then Young was too slow. Dropped it. So McStay having a good 60 seconds or so.
Yeah, Nick Dacos, just tell him just to take you 30 seconds and hopefully something pops up late. Darcy Cameron's the player going down there now.
He goes towards the pocket, but it's wide and off the boot now.
Oh, he's leaning back. Really hard to be pinpoint accurate when you're leaning back on your kick like he was there. That is a position they'll target, that forward pocket for a late lead.
Tom Brown bangs it up to the wing. Houston waiting at the back. Sims, though, was able to send it Richmond's way through Ross. He just didn't want to go for any old handball, so back he goes to Tresize off the side of the boot, but it's all right to short. He's got a man on this side, and it's Sonsi. Decision to be made. 45 seconds out. Full screaming for it in the pocket. He throws his head back in disappointment.
That's the line. Even though that was a poor kick, I wonder whether as a player you just understand that has been an area where they've found space on a few occasions outside in transition.
3 goals, 9 for the season. Wouldn't really give you enormous confidence, but Tyler Sonsi thinks he can. It's going to be touched anyway, and Moore puts a fist into it to make sure of it.
Especially when it's wet, you get, it's conducive to go down the line to the numbers and be really safe. I think both sides, if they're willing and brave enough to access the open side, there is some space and numbers out there.
18 seconds. Could the Tigers grab a late one? Hopper, Nankervis, Mansell poked it. Sims out of control. Holding the ball. Buried under there somewhere.
Just trying to work out who was paid against.
Jack Crisp, is it under there?
Yeah.
And so, right on the siren, Sims will go back and have a shot for goal. And it'll make a big difference to how Richmond feel about this opening quarter. They tried hard, clearly. The underdogs coming in. Collingwood with a 14-point lead when the siren sounds. So Tom Sims, just his 10th game, 3 goals, 4. It looks simple. And he proves that it is. Tigers up and about at the MCG. Your Sunday ticket has got a contest. The young Tigers with the confidence of 2 wins in a row. And the Magpies looking to fight back after dropping the last 2. They're here at the MCG on a winter's day. A few thoughts for Craig McRae, but the Pies lead by 8 points. So we've got amazing September to look forward to when it comes to footy, and the F1 season is also slowly working its way to a climax with a magnificent duel. We're racing in Belgium. Over to
All right. Hey, welcome in, everyone. It's quarter time. The Magpies 3-3-21. The Tigers 2-1-13. I tell you what, Tigers going all right. I like this Tigers team, as I always say, from the pretty much the start of the season. They're an up-and-coming side, and they give a little bit of trouble to the opposition. The Pies, however, I tell you what, they need to lift their game. This doesn't really look like the old Pies we've seen in the early part of this season. Just their structure, I think they've got to get back to that a little bit. You're right, though. Pies need to put the foot on the throat after last week. I think the Pies are out of sorts a little bit just watching this. They're just not clean going in forward 50. They just don't seem to have that smooth link up and run off half back. Tell you what, the Pies, they need to get their act together, and I think they certainly miss Pendlebury out on the ground. That being said, all they can do is win and try and get a little bit of confidence back after the loss. It's like that, M. King. It's like that. G'day, Albert M. King, Captain Sporty Pants. How you doing? Addy G in the house. What's going on? Go Pies! Just for Adrian, I just want to put... Oh, where is that? I just want to put the live ladder back up for all you Collingwood supporters. I've been in front of this game, back on top of the AFL Premiership season ladder for 2025. That's great news. Great news for the Magpies back on top. All right, let's just go on. Hey, the lineups, let's have a look at those. We didn't get to those. Coming in for Richmond, Steely Green, Noah Bolter, Jasper Alga going out with Seth Campbell, Kaczynski and Tim Taranto was out. I'm pretty sure he was a late out for their Addy G. Go Pies! Jasper Alga is the sub. And, of course, for the Pies, Dan Houston comes back in with Tim Membry and Tom Mitchell, trying to get some of the old boys back into a little bit of form before finals. Going out, Bo McCreary's a big out for the Magpies. Mason Cox, well, he didn't really perform, so he had to be dropped, the big man. And, of course, Scotty Pendlebury, one of the most valuable players in any side, the general, out today. Olive Markov is the sub. Be good to see when he gets brought back on the ground. He gives them a lot of good run. There we go. There are your teams. We'll just go and have a look at the goal scorers. There we go. Not many goal scorers in the opening term. Tresize and Sims are the goal scorers there for the Tigers. Myercheck with a ring-a-ding-ding goal from the boundary kick one. Membry and Nick Dacos with a nice snap. So 5 goal scorers, all singles today. Nick Dacos, of course, leading the way. I tell you what, you'd expect him to have a big game today. The little champ there. Don't go Tigers. Did you have a wager on the Tigers, Addy G? I tell you what, Tigers would have been about $8, I think, to win this game. I didn't see the odds, but they would have been big. Nick Dacos, though, come out of the gates running, the only one with double figures in the opening term. 10 disposals, 8 kicks, 2 handballs, couple clearances, and a goal. Looking reasonably okay. I'm sure he's in for a big game. Edward Allen getting plenty of the ball early. 9, 3 and 6. Just a one behind. Vlosten best for the Tigers on 8. Let's just roll down. Darcy Cameron on 8, going all right. The old boys still side bottom. Mitchell, 7. Hopper next best there for the Tigers on 7 also. Let's roll on down. Jamie Elliott, well, 6 disposals, had plenty of the ball, hasn't scored yet, 5 kicks. It's $5 bet. Yeah, $10. Yeah, I thought they might have been big outsiders there, $10. There we go. Sent all $10. Wow, Lockie Schultz, quiet. I want to see him get into the action, throw his body around. He's pretty good. Yeah, the ball's just not being delivered too well down forward to Elliott. This is one of the bits they need to clean up a bit. So a lot of Collingwood supporters getting their mitts on the ball, as you can see there. Most of them in the top, possession getters on the ground. Tigers down below, but the Tigers still going pretty good. I just want to have a quick look at the inside 50s. Toby Nankervis there, the big man, 3 touches, 10 hit-outs for the Tigers in the opening quarter. There we go. I just want to have a quick look at the inside 50s. Looking at the disposal count, 22. Pies already plus 33 in the opening term. You know, that being said, 8-point margin is not much, is it, for the amount of ball they've had? Inside 50s, here we go. Tigers have only had 8 inside 50s, so the Pies are doing well to prevent the Tigers from getting it down there 8 times, as very, very low number, 3 scoring shots. So they're doing reasonably well when they're getting it inside. 1 every 4 times they're scoring a goal, so that's all right. The Magpies, 17 inside 50s for 6 scoring shots. There we go. Not many free kicks given in this game so far, just 4 and 4, so the umpire's going all right. Let's just have a quick look at the clearances. Clearances, 7 to 12. Pies on top there, plus 5 in the opening term. All right, let's get back down to the action for the second quarter, where it's the Pies by 8 points.
Ross's hurried kick towards the top of the square. Bolter elects to wait. And it goes out towards Rioli. We're going to see a bit of magic here. He slipped over at a crucial stage and holding the ball.
Yeah, if you know a Bolter there, you can't elect to wait. Darcy Moore, we know, is going to press up and impact the contest.
With no time, off to Josh Dacos. Over Schultz's head. Young broke up the play, and then Vlosten kicks aggressively into the middle. I don't think that was pure either. And Curvis. Sky ball, 2-on-1 against young Sims. He did pretty well, actually. Made a contest of it, allows Bolter to scramble it forward. Mansell back there against Maynard. Ross, careful not to give away the free. Mansell gets taken down and taken out, and was that high?
It had to be.
Yep. Yeah. Out of zone umpire. Sides it was, and trainer will have the shot for goal.
They're better late than never. It was certainly a high free kick.
So Luke Trainer, who thought he was going to be the sub until Tim Taranto was the very late withdrawal.
1 more metre. That Chris.
Kicked his first goal here at the MCG a month or so ago. And goal 6 for the season. And this young band of Tigers seen him a fair bit in defence. He's played every game. So he's had an excellent start to his career. And if he wants to play in defence, he's doing an excellent job.
He would have been too confident with 1 goal 6. Once again, just leant back on it.
So a couple of opportunities that they'd be ruining from their young players trainer in green in the first quarter. Kick out in the Schultz direction, but holding his ground, Vlosten.
He's been good.
Schultz not happy there.
Vlosten been a real wall, hasn't he, in the first quarter and now the early part of the second. Hopper keeps it low towards Rioli. Quainer was a couple of steps ahead of him and takes the defensive mark.
I think, once again, just a miss kick. So this will be interesting to see what Collingwood do, whether they do elect to go down the line again. Looks that case.
He's eyeing off the corridor initially. Schultz runs hard, but Young, determined, and takes the grab.
It just hasn't been a way that they've found their way through at the moment.
To Vlosten. Bit of a standoff with McStay, who was clever. He got a touch to it, so it makes it a bit hurried for Trainer. Again, the run-down tackle. Not allowed to get the handball away. Oh, has him after it again. Now he's got him this time. Rioli takes down side bottom.
He's sensational, isn't he?
How good is that?
The greatest hits of Maurice Rioli. In short. And it's Banks, so that's to the neck.
I mean, but that's how important it is. I mean, it's a great highlight in the stuff that we love in our game. But 2 of those tackles have resulted in shots on goal.
Handoff too. It's going to fall short, but it's a mark as well. And Houghton takes the grab. Banks drove it in. And undeniably, Taj Houghton is going to excite Richmond and footy fans for years to come, just on what we've seen already so far. Made his debut here just a few weeks ago against the Bombers. Kicked a goal. Some great touches last week. His second half was excellent. He drives this one right through the middle. So they've had a couple of misses, as Matty alluded to, but they have 3 goals. And it's back to a 1-point game.
Yeah, well, Taj is playing dry weather football. That was a beautiful contested mark in the goal square. As we see the flying shot here, but look at that. Gets a nice hit and 1 grab. Important on a big pack on a day like today when the ball's hitting the ground. But it's the Richmond build-up which I really like there. They started to use the ball and not try and kick long inside forward 50 from that 70, 80 metres out, where you're getting a shallow entry that's landing centrally in the forward 50. Those deep entries put the opposition under so much pressure.
Taj's father, Trent, played for Collingwood, was on the Carlton list for a while as well. Son of a gun for Collingwood as McIntosh gets a little handball out towards Hopper.
High contact. Stand.
And the umpire's call there, palms it off. Kick from short, inside 50. That's a great defensive grab from Maynard.
Yeah, I think it's starting to dry up out there now. The rain has stopped. So maybe look to both sides to move the ball a little bit more aggressively.
Quaynor.
Yeah, that's a shallow entry I was just talking about, Geordie. It just plays into the opposition hands and lovely contested mark, but try and use the ball.
Holding, Brody Myercheck.
Yeah, so this is what how passing continue on now.
Nick Dacos spearing ball. Elliott went through the legs. And then Sullivan, his kick ricochets. Long, side bottom, off a step towards McStay. Well, luck's a fortune. There's a little bit of a hot football just outside the arc, but they composed themselves, the Pies. It was a good kick.
1 metre back. Thank you. Right there. Stand.
So the instructions issued. to McStay, who's been good early, and that's just missed to the right.
Gives you an indication on how Collingwood want to play now. They want to chip sideways and let their three tools go to work down the field and use each other as either blocks to get separation and then go quick from there.
Stay goalless the last couple of weeks. He's been a terrific target for them, but his goal kick has been a little bit patchy during the year. McIntosh, after the full assessment, Fall and Nankervis both there. Fall went for it. Cameron Moore quickly to Nick Dacos. From behind, Tresice doesn't panic, but needs the bounce to go Quayner's way. And it did. Sullivan hemmed in, so the snap along the line, tracking at Myercheck. His technique was superb.
Yeah, it certainly was. He got a little bit of help from, I think it was Lipinski behind in holding the opposition player out, but a little bit like McStay before, just the forward craft of both McStay and Myercheck to be able to identify where the ball was going to drop and complete the mark was very impressive.
Well, he kicked a rather memorable goal earlier in the game. I think this one might be a bit more conventional. Slots it, as he has done so many times. Brody Myercheck and the Pies lead. He's back above the goal.
I think their last couple of inside 50s, they've got a bit of speed on the ball. Nick Dacos has been involved, but just not the... He didn't want to take it over. He didn't want to stop it. He wanted to keep the ball alive, which allowed Quaynor to come into the game. And you're right, Jamie Elliott just holding out Young to allow Myercheck to come back in. So you trust that your teammates are providing protection and probably the talk to allow you to come back with confidence.
They're going to need a little bit of that today, Geordie, as well. Vlosten's already had the 8 intercept possessions. So keeping a man accountable and not being able to let them come over and impact the contest is important.
6 touches and 2 goals. Matching his quote from last week, Myercheck. Nick Dacos gets away from Rioli. Cameron and Dacos working concert with each other. A little chip towards Hoskin Elliott. Brown did well. And then Josh Dacos comes to assist. Bouncing ball, Membry first there. Miller all over him. And a ball up.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, I love seeing Rioli in the centre bounces as well.
Darcy,
Takes the centre bounce and just resets as a forward.
Dan Curvis down to Hopper. Brown. Spears one out towards Sims. Deflects out. That's a good kick inboard, but doesn't get the full tote odds out of that.
Well, he would have marked that, I reckon.
Moore, Dacos, Mitchell, Allen over the head of Quaynor. Mitchell gets a second chance. He kept running, just can't quite pick it up. Brown, and then Traynor, trundling ball, bit of a chaos ball. Moore, able to win the football, back to Nick Dacos. So clean, so classy, goes inboard, nobody home though. Prestia did well to trap the football. And then the kick to Fall. Now this is interesting, inside 50, only 2 players there! Big fly from Green, he's hurt himself.
I think he's paid the shepherd from Dan Houston. Oh, don't point to the scoreboard. Perryman.
He's seen that he's taken his eyes more
Yeah, but what do you do? I mean, he's trying to protect the space to then go back at the football, doesn't get the opportunity to. I'm with the Collingwood faithful here. I'm not quite sure it was there.
So can Steely Green pick himself up? He's winded. Can he come in from about 47 and seal the deal? It's not a bad kick, Steely. Reel it in the mark and reel it in the goal.
Well, we'll get another look at it and see if you can change your opinion, Tom. But you're right, I think he clearly knew that he was there, but you're right, it's one of those things where you protect the space to then hopefully come back on to the drop of the ball. He had a good chunk of it, Steely Green, though. Yeah, I'm not too sure the freeze there.
Shows a cool young head, though, to go back and pick it from 48 after all of that.
Yeah, no, they're just having a period of dominance at times.
I think he's still in pain there. Just, that does me too hard. And he's staying out there, which is great to see. Tigers continue to take it up to Collingwood. The backup rucks are there, McStay and Sims, who's got the size to potentially one day become a ruckman, a number one ruckman. He's only 199 though, so that might work against him, but he's going to be a big boy. Just flicks it out, Trainer, and then through Banks to short. Brown waiting on the outside.
It's just me, he does look like a young Jack Rewalt.
Yeah, and this kick straight to Nick Dacos. Short through Mitchell, Equator, and Josh Dacos. Jamie Elliott has worked very cleverly by Broad. That was a lot of experience. I think Elliott was about to fly high, but
yeah, if you're a young defender in that situation, you panic and probably hold.
Hopefully he didn't take his eye off the ball at any moment.
Boston. Miller. Long ball. Moore sets himself. McStay was in seat 1A. Comes back to Perryman. Perryman skies one. Sullivan wrestles with the bigger man Miller. And the bigger man won.
Good kick.
Spears one to Ross. One of the leaders that I was talking about earlier, extending the ship for the young players for Richmond. Long's handball to Myercheck. Myercheck through the middle to Nick Dacos. A little bit of a fake. Then he got around Brown. Then he loads up vacant goal square. That's class. That is class. What a star he is with his second.
Lovely play by Collingwood there. The pressure they applied. Now, Richmond's last two goals, they've both come this quarter from the attack off half-back, so their ability to be able to use the ball and chip it down and take the contest and go from there, and Collingwood just not allowing them to gain that distance in their attack. And this man's the man that you want right across the AFL, you could argue, with ball in hand, running inside 50 with an open goal square.
There's just something with players as good as Dacos is, but players across the league who aren't afraid to be tackled. You know, Brown got a hand on him, but you've got the strength and the confidence to be able to break that tackle and then continue on to the next play.
Margin back to 9. It's lived for a fair portion of this game. Long, the forward handball. Out came Lipinski. McIntosh. Sonson. Give up a bit of ground. A little look in the rearview mirror from short. And Sims has made himself useful out here on the wing. Guys filter back pretty quickly, though.
Yeah, not much movement further down the field.
Moore and Dean and Houston all there. So to McStay, but Ross with a reflex at that back of the pack. Quickly from Hopper, took it from Sonsi, bangs away again. 4-metre contest. Handball from Houghton, Ross. Bolter under siege. Moore comes through. Not easy for the Pies, but Lipinski creative to Nick Dacos. Again, it's Broad v Elliott. Tremendous contest. Both got a bit, and apparently Jamie got too much of Broad. Gives up the free.
Yeah, by Jamie's reaction, I think he knew that he gave away a free kick.
So the Pies lead by 9 as Boston, who's having a cracking first half. High one. Up they go, fall at the back. Waynor diffuses the situation. The boys, Richmond making a contest of this.
Oh, they are. I think, you know, they look at the positives. They're +3 inside 50s for the quarter. 2 goals each. Hopper starting to get involved. Loston's been good all game. They're really making it hard for Collingwood to transition the ball and score.
Hopper only as far as Mitchell, and then McStay, little fend off to the younger player round the corner, straight back to Boston.
He just reads it so well. Doesn't take his eyes off the ball. Memory turned his back to try and get out the back, and Boston reads it so well.
Diligent as always to Broad. Inside defensive 50. Miller. And then A bit more aggressive this time, down the spine. Sonzi, Banks, slips the boot into it towards Bolter, who dropped it. And it was Houghton to Ross, who just massages it towards Fall, who just collected it with the left hand.
Great connection between those Richmond players there as they enter forward 50, but again, the craft, that is A1, just the ability to be able to get contact on McStay. Probably knew it was coming, and just to go back and
the audacity of just taking it with one hand. You do not see that very often.
Not the first Jonty to take one with one hand on the MCG either, as Fall comes round and over the face of goal.
That doesn't look all that comfortable kicking on the left foot, but he'll work on that. But it's the way that he can win the ball in a contest in the forward line, which Richmond would be so happy with.
Well, we'll be back soon, it seems, after playing last night. To Jordan De Goey, Billy Frampton, so there's a bit to come back. And if you just join us, Scott Pendlebury, the laid out. Up to the wing, McStay with both hands. Takes the mark and brings it into Mitchell.
This is where they're happy to be a little bit more patient, and then they rely on this contest down the field. Memory and my check at this stage.
That's the general line of attack. Tigers defence do what they could. Membry, Sullivan pulls it out of there. McStay, Allen. Back to the maze of players, and anything goes. Sullivan was thinking quickly to get it out towards Schultz. Beat him.
Anthony mentioned Pendlebury not playing. Taranto was a late out as well with that calf issue. So Luke Trainer initially the sub, but he's out there now. Jasper Alger, rhythm, he's now the sub. Prestia. Oh, Boston's had a fresh airing. Nick Dacos almost helped him out. Schultz, McStay lines them up, bang! Straight through the middle. A little bit of class rising in the second term, and it's out to 14.
Well, it didn't come off a forward 50 tackle, where an area of the game where they were so good at last week, but you just can't give this Collingwood team an a chance. McStay facing goal, takes his ground, sums up the situation, looks around just to see what sort of pressure, where Maurice Rioli is. Wasn't there, and he goes back and kicks a lovely goal.
Once again, Tom, like the pick-up from Dacos, yes, won the steal off Lawson, but the pick-up and to know where your options are, so the vision sets up that goal. Nick Dacos just having a rest in the goal square, taking up Nathan Broad.
That'll be enough to make the defence very nervous.
Very shaky.
Prestia's hands to the outside. Trainer forward to Houghton and then to Rioli. What can he do with the ball here? Well, Prestia had to have a look behind to see if that was meant for someone else. It was for him. And he adapts well to the square again. Fall disrupts the play and, in fact, oversteps the mark.
He just played on when he didn't need to play on, Prestia, which meant that he was under pressure with side bottom.
Dan McStay, that goal you saw, that was just his second goal on the run this year. He is really a mark and goal player, isn't he? But he did it so well. Maynard keeps it pretty low, but it carried to Cameron and then to Myercheck. It's fair to say I wasn't really ready for it. Schultz found a little gap, but good commitment from short. And now Rioli, the handball was on to Prestia. Can Rioli use his legs running the other way? Went to Houghton and then to Trainer. Fall is deep. Rioli gets a bit of his own back. Steele Sidebottom will enjoy that. He didn't exactly run him down. He leaned him down, but
he wasn't letting him go because he knew he wouldn't have a second chance. Still kept the ball alive here, though. Good tackle.
Comes out to Long. Schultz better watch out. Rattling bones on a Sunday at the MCG. A few scoops and handballs, and Sonsi gets it deep again. Fall came late. Fisted away. Josh Dacos. Morris was in the vicinity, but he just wasn't quite enough tickets left to challenge, and instead it's Schultz to Long.
Yep, hits him lace out. Good crowd in here at the G on a Sunday. A rare 2 o'clock fixture.
Move it on.
Funny say that, isn't it? A rare tool.
Yeah, it's remarkable. That's 2025, eh? Long. Kicks to forward 50. A few arms went up for the Pies. Membry just couldn't quite grab it. And then in the phone booth, high one from trainer. Quainer, good work. Good in the air. And then spins it inboards. To side bottom, they're off.
And it's Josh Dacos who's off this time. Membry has a good sight. This will test Miller. Got ragdoll. Membry plays at the front. Miller's down. The pain will depend on the punishment. High ball, Myercheck. They track it from every angle. Tigers spoil. Perryman, who was ready and waiting, but he decides he sounded a kick to Jamie Elliott. Poor old Ben Miller. He's in a world of pain, but at least it doesn't cost them a goal.
He's just where they're going to kick the ball in here, so we might have a slight delay.
Let's hope he's okay. He doesn't look that way, does he?
He's holding his lower back initially.
Yeah, just on those last two pieces of play from Collingwood, it seems like when they build the ball up from their back half, they're prepared to go slow. When it's a front half turnover, that's when they're more aggressive with taking that kick inside, putting speed on the ball. So that'll be the challenge. As you see, taken off and play resumes.
Jasper Elgar is the sub for Richmond.
Play on!
So brought back in. Trainer's kick. Pack forms. Got football to be won, and Curvis just scrounged it out, and then Hopper ducked into Mitchell. Ball sprung free. Schultz is almost a fresh airy. Ross fighting hard, deflects off the boot. Sonzi was in there. And eventually, Short's little 9-iron in the air, not marked, and Quaynor gathers again. Low one in the long direction, deflecting ball. It's like a cake of soap at the moment. Prestia picks it up. Little bit of dodging and weaving. Handball through his teammate under the pump. Quaynor back to Cameron on hands and knees. By hand, Maynard. Now he's got Lipinski wider, but he goes straight down the corridor to Myercheck. Collingwood quick movement of the football towards Hoskin. Elliott clubbed it towards Membry. Sullivan with the fall of the ball. He's got Elliott there. Elliott throws his boot out and it trundles next to the point post, and it's going to be a throw in.
I think it's Brown, maybe. Looks to be injured, about 35 out.
It's a good effort, wasn't it? That's Banks.
Oh, it's Banks, yeah. Yeah, it was a great effort.
What? Back in.
It's a conversation whether to wait for Banks or not.
Well, I think if the player's staying out there, there's no trainer around him. Play continues.
Miller's gone down to the rooms too, incidentally.
If Banks was on you now, you'd be moving around, I think. Tigers in the wars for now. Away from precise. That'll buy them a little bit of time.
Brody and Toby.
I'll explain a bit. 14 points the margin. Myercheck as a ruckman. Hoskin Elliott as a goal kicker. A little left foot snap from Will Hoskin Elliott. And his mates will love that. They're all precious, and the lead extends to a game-high 20 points.
Well, it's just a connection. So the conversation happened prior to this. Tom Mitchell was involved. Clearly, Myercheck as the ruckman's involved. And then it's about execution. Tom Mitchell laying the block. Hoskin Elliott getting to the right spot. Myercheck putting it down his throat.
They're very close mates, so I think they enjoyed that.
And he knew straight away from me, Hoskin Elliott.
One down the square. Collingwood.
So an important 3 minutes 25 for Richmond just to grit their teeth and hold on here towards half-time with a little bit of walking wounded going on. And Curvis flew early. Cameron pats it down. Hopper's kick just scrounges at 10 metres. Josh Dacos off the ground. Marked by Banks.
That's their third goal. Collingwood from a forward 50 stoppage.
That's encouraging for the young man after Little issue early. Now Rioli at the back here with Rosfeld to Josh Dacos. Goes left and then right, and then to Perryman with class. And they're looking dangerous now, the Pies, as Elliott has it inboard. Side bottom, back to Elliott, and then this little handball, trying to almost get it to Membry, cut off by Broads. Coming through Mansell, round the corner off a step. Can it be trapped? Cameron hit it hard, and then a little manufactured kick off the ground. Nick Dacos, Lipinski, he's been grabbed, he got rid of it. Coming through was Houston. And now Mansell, it's a dangerous handball. Pressure, Lipinski look for Houston. Coming in Hopper, by hand Prestia. Then his handball, almost cut off by Nick Dacos, who has time to recapture the football for the Pies. And here they come again.
And he used it beautifully, and so too did Perryman, but it was too hot for side bottom. Mansell, a little gift to Ed Allen. Mytek in the right place, but defended well by Young.
Just going back to that Rioli chase, well, he would have chased, doesn't get a tackle, but he would have chased for 100 metres just to apply that pressure for Collingwood. Eventually Richmond turning the ball over. Brilliant stuff.
Play on.
So Young, penetrating ball to the pack. Bolter not quite. Hopper goes in, pinched by Crisp.
Play on.
Deflecting ball, fall. And Sonzi, touch of the fumbles from Houghton. Fall under the pump there. Sonzi, Cameron, all a bit of soccer stuff. It's Messi, Sullivan, Maynard. Hurried kick. Vlosten, the great wall of Vlosten again.
Yeah, they were through Richmond. You can't get through when you have 3 fumbles in a row, allowing Collingwood to come back in and pressure.
Good on. Play on.
Minute 30 to go. They kicked a late goal in the opening quarter. Sonsi was on the end of that beautiful delivery from Nick Vlosten.
I think they just need to build this ball up, take no risks, try and take ground, get a contest further afield.
That's what he does. Bolter provides the contest. Ball, though, decisively away to Crisp. Maynard down the line. Jamie Elliott is up.
Push out.
Which way? Free kick to the Tigers.
You're free. And then go again.
Trying to improve the mood of Tom's beloved Magpie Army.
Stand, Brody. Time
I
on.
think they were too enamoured with Tom back in 2011.
Play on. You.
Here's the kick from Vlosten to half forward. Hopper, stand start. Delivery's fine. And now, again, Bolter
Come up to the mark.
goes back. And he doesn't take the long shot because all on his own was Jaden Short, and we know he is well and truly within range.
He could kick this with his left. It's
He
important.
probably won't, though.
No, he won't. Well, Sam Mitchell used to do that. The further out he was, he would use his opposite foot. But I mean, really important to nail this on the eve of half time to keep the energy high.
A disrupted season. But he's fitted beautifully back into the team. Jaden Short. Can the Tigers get a late one like the last quarter? No, as you can see, that's drifted right across. He's not used to kicking for goal from that close.
Too close. He should have went right back and played on.
Play on.
Probably should have got someone, handballed to someone who could handball back to him, and he could run from 50.
So a few opportunities go amiss for the Tigers as Josh Dacos' long kick is the last passage at half-time. So for Collingwood, Brody Myercheck with 2, one an unconventional goal, the other a little bit more conventional. Nick Dacos with 2. And it is a 20-point ball game after it was 8 at quarter time. But we've had a contest in the first half here at the MCG. As we head down to Sarah Jones.
A real arm wrestle to begin with in the opening term, but you managed to get on top. What was that? What was the biggest contributor to that?
We knew they were going to turn up. Like their pressure and their contest stuff's really good. So we just got to turn up, and these conditions, it's just about getting the ball forward, and our forwards turn out for sure.
The conditions are tricky. The rain's been on and off, and yet Nick Dacos makes it look like dry weather football. Do you marvel at what he can do?
Oh, his turn of foot is incredible. His ability to just weave in and out. It's it's something to definitely marvel at for sure.
We'll let you get in there and just speak to Fly. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, plenty more still coming up from the MCG. Tom Hawkins joins me to dissect everything that's happened in the opening half. And then next week, Collingwood meet the Brisbane Lions, a repeat of the 2023 grand final. The last two premiers going at it. They're certainly in the hunt for the flag this year. That one not to be missed right here on Fox Footy.
All right, there we go. It is half time. The margin extends 7-6, 48. The Magpies 4-4, 28. Richmond. I tell you what, Richmond is still going all right. Collingwood still scrappy. It's just one of those games, back and forth, back and forth. No team really taking control of this game at the moment so far. But we are certainly expecting the Magpies to take control at some point in this game. We know they can play the four quarters, but that being said, Richmond, they're not a bad young outfit, and they're doing quite well. I think some of the decision making out there is still not the best there for the Magpies, so this is why I think there's still a fair bit of improvement to come in their game today. Just a few times they're just bombing the ball in instead of lowering their eyes and looking for that leading player. And trying to create a bit of space for their forwards. A little bit like that. Jamie Elliott's not really getting, his delivery the way he likes it down forward today. But, hey, Mark, how you going? Teenage Shouty. What's going on? There we go. Halftime here at the MCG. Magpies, in control on the scoreboard. Is for sure. Not really the game. Look, they're probably a little bit in control in the game, probably 55-45%, I would say, but we'll certainly see what happens after half-time, what's going on. As I said, the ball's a little bit slippery out there. It's still not a bad day. Overcast weather, no rain at the moment, so not too bad. It's about 12 degrees here in Melbourne. A beautiful, warm winter's day. And we've got a few fans out there, supporting their club. I tell you what, I thought there would have been a bigger crowd out there, probably about 58,000, 60,000 out there at the game today. Just a small crowd witnessing the game today. But I tell you what, it's a good game though. It's still a good game, even though it's a little bit scrappy just for those folks. Again, those Collingwood supporters, there we go. Collingwood go on to win this game. They'll be back on top of the ladder once again. Of course, now from Adelaide, who had a barnstorming win last night. They were just incredible in the pouring torrential rain over there at Adelaide Oval. They were fantastic. All right, let's have a little bit of a look at the goal scorers. Of course, we've got two multiple goal scorers out on the ground, both for the Magpies. That's Brody Myercheck, Nick Dacos, who's having an absolute cracking game, both with two, Membry McStay, Will Hoskin Elliott, the other singles for the Magpies. For the Tigers, Magpie Madness, yo, what's up? G'day, welcome in. Go Pies, go Pies. For the Tigers, Trezise, Sims and Houghton and Steely Green are their single goal scorers so far in the match. Disposal getters, of course, Nick Dacos is having a fantastic game out there today. I tell you what, it's like he's got the ball on a piece of string whenever he gets around the ball. 22 touches so far up until half-time. 15 kicks, 7 handballs, 2 marks, 4 clearances, 2 goals. Tell you what a playmaker. There we go. Doing great. Jacob Hopper, he's going pretty good with Nick Vlosten for the Tigers. 19 for Jacob Hopper. 6 kicks, 13 handballs, a couple clearances for him. There we go. Vlosten 16. Quainer, nice and sturdy in defence. All right, we'll come back and have a look at some of the stats. We'll just head back down to the commentators. They'll give us a little bit of analysis on their thoughts on the opening half.
Everything in pretty trying conditions. It's been raining on and off at Tom Hawkins, but the little champ, he is so classy, his skills so sublime. He is a joy to watch.
Yeah, we talked about in pre-game, didn't we, Sarah, whether Jack Ross was going to have the opportunity to play on Nick Dacos, but you mentioned he's been everywhere. He's been off half-back, so impactful through the midfield, and the way that he gets forward and finishes in the forward half is unbelievable. So it was wet. You're down on ground level. It was wet early. It started to dry out a little bit, but it looks like he's playing with a different football. So clean. Every opportunity he gets with the ball in hand, he makes it count. So what a weapon at their disposals. And as we've touched on, it might be the time to deploy Jack Ross just to go with him and put the clamps on him, because Richmond has shown some really positive signs.
I love how competitive he is when he's on the bench waiting to go back on. He can't get on quick enough, Tom. We saw him resting at full forward for a little bit, which is a scary proposition as well.
Well, it's a good way to be able to still have a player like Nick involved, so he can go sit on the bench, have his 1 or 2 minute breather, or he can spend 5 minutes down, throw a different mix into the midfield, but also have a break and still be impactful at the right times when he can.
As Dan McStay said just before, he knew that they were going to bring the heat, and that's exactly what they've done. Richmond is certainly putting up a fight. Their pressure, we've seen some great tackling, and we know Rioli always brings the heat. He got still side bottom of beauty.
Yeah, he did, and he also got him nearly a couple of times as well. But so it's an attitude thing, right? So Richmond have come with the presence and wanting to chase and wanting to tackle and rewarding it by the support they've got from their teammates for those that have applied the pressure. But also think that they're structuring up behind the ball really well. So they're taking Collingwood's outlets, and that's a wonderful example of it. So Josh Dacos thinks he's in time and space, still thinks he's in time and space because of guys like Broad and Vlosten behind the ball positioning themselves so well. So yes, Rioli's getting the chase down, but it's also coming off the back of some decisions ahead of the ball that Richmond are executing really well.
Yeah, the intercept defence has been quite impressive. Richmond play the Gold Coast Suns next week, Tom, on Fox Footy. Damien Hardwick's old side playing his new side, the Suns, in great form as they head towards September, their first September campaign. The Tigers would love to put a little dent in their run to the finals.
All right, they're just on a little bit of a break. Are the Pies playing well? Not really. No, they're not really playing. They're not really playing well. They're playing a little bit scrappy. I think some of their decision making, needs to improve. Exactly. They're just not the clean, precise team that we've been accustomed to seeing them play throughout the season so far. But I think that'll improve in the second half, as I said. The scores are reasonably tight at the moment, as it has been from the opening bounce. Out to a 20-point margin, Pies starting to get on top in that second term, of course. And I do expect the Pies to stretch out this lead a little bit and play a little bit better with a little bit more conviction, a little bit better decision making on their part. They certainly need to get all their structures and everything settled back into this game and really put the pressure on the Tigers. I'd like to see the Pies put a little bit more pressure on. I think their pressure rating could lift also a little bit instead of just thinking, they can come out today and get the job done against the Tigers. I think they really need to step up their hardness at the ball, because, they've got some tough games coming up before the finals, Brisbane next week. I'd like to see them, a little bit like what Geelong did to North Melbourne yesterday, just gave them absolute shellacking, a little bit like Adelaide did to Port Adelaide, a shellacking, real contenders for this year's flag. This is what you really want to see the Magpies doing as well, standing them in good stead when they play the better opposition. So they got it, getting their game plan spot on. So they can take that into playing the better opposition for sure. But some of the decision making, I think they certainly do miss the old boy Pendles out there, just directing the traffic a little bit, sort of coaching the players out on the ground. This is what we need to do. Sort of a little bit like that. It was like the game last time when they played Pendles as the sub against the Gold Coast Suns, and then he came back on. The game sort of changed back around into Collingwood's. They're trying not to peak too early. I know, yeah, well, I tell you what, they played some fantastic footy during the season, but I tell you what, this is the time. This is the time you need to start playing some of your best football with only 4 rounds to go. You don't want any weak links in your game at all. You want to be playing on song and getting everything right. You don't really want things to be fixing like a week out from the finals or in the finals. You want everything down pat, down settled. You want everything working smoothly, correctly, and your decisions really, really on top. But yeah, it'll be different against Brizzy next week. I think, look, sometimes the Pies, their intensity certainly does lift. Their pressure lifts when they play the better sides. But that being said, they want to be able to get their game working really smoothly, and their transitions working really good, even against these the lesser sides at the moment, like the Tigers. All right, let's just head back a little bit to some of the stats where we were, the player stats. If you want to have a look at any player stat, let me know and we'll read out their stats for you. Darcy Cameron, 13. Josh Dacos on 13. Mitchell, 13 so far. Sonsei on 12 with Jaden Short there for the Tigers, both on 12. Looking at a few others there. Maynard Allen on 12 also for the Maggies.
Tracking where he starts.
We'll just head back down to the commentators.
Well, you're right. I mean, he stalks his prey and then he pounces. So the crowd didn't help him there. The crowd were in anticipation, and Sidebottom picked that off. But he's had a couple today where he's never given up on the chase. One, he didn't quite get there, which would have been the best of them all. It was about a 70-metre run to try and apply that pressure, but it's so handy having these types of players in your team.
Well, and the bigger picture, this year has seen some amazing rundown tackles. We know tackle pressure and all that. It's all a big part of the game these days, but it's become such a dynamic and exciting part. So you're tasked with the best rundown tackles, the top 5 of the year, and at number 5.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be a list without a Hawthorn player, Hutto. So we just scraped Marby Old Child there in at 5. So see there, just in the middle of the screen, as North are trying to exit, just didn't give up. Bang, 450 tackle. Gives you a chance to have a set shot. The next one's Liver, and this was probably more for the surprising factor. If you see that who he's chasing, Bradley Hill,
Look at Liver
known for
chasing.
his speed and endurance, and that was the highest metres per second that Liver has ever run. And this is Bobby Hill. So just see there, look, just a turn of speed, and to go bang, manner, boom.
Free kick against.
Yeah, that was controversial at the time. We've seen these two in the highlights package. So this is Tom Brown. You think about the context of the game, and this being a game-saving tackle where Hoff was about to deliver the ball or kick a goal himself. And then this is arguably the highlight of the season. I'm still trying to work out how he actually held on when he was horizontal.
That was the bit, wasn't it? There's been memes this week with the Superman cape on and so forth, and it was an interesting way. This is a big dive at the end.
But just to dive and have the strength to hold on to the jumper, fantastic tackle.
All right, more mauling from Morris coming up after the break at the MCG. It's the Pies by 20 points.
All right, there we go. That was from the commentators. They'll be back not too far away. Let's just get back over and look at some of these stats, folks. Dion Prestia, he's at 11 there for the Tigers. 3 clearances, not too bad. Daniel McStay, 11 touches. Looks reasonably okay. 7 kicks, 1 goal, 1. Where's Ned Long? Just have a look at Ned Long. Just 10 disposals. Jamie Elliott's had 10. Look, he's working hard. Just not getting things all his own way at the moment. I'm sure we'll see him slot a couple in the second half. Lockie Schultz, a little bit quiet day for him, just on the 9. Melbourne are favourites to win today. Yeah, look, probably. I think that'd be a pretty tight game on the favourites. I wouldn't think they'd be favourites by much. That's going to be an interesting, tough game. The Saints are overdue. The Saints are overdue for a win. Melbourne you'd probably think would win, but the Saints are overdue. So I'm really not sure who's gonna take that game out. Should be interesting. McIntosh just on the 6 there for the Tigers, 3 clearances. Noah Bolter just 6 touches also, 5 kicks, 1 handball, 3 marks. That is it for him. I tell you what, Morris Rioli's only had 5 touches, 2 kicks, 3 handballs. He's laid a couple of beautiful tackles. I tell you what, he's got some speed to burn when he's on the chase down. Tell you what, I don't think anyone's going to sort of match him for speed. Tell you what, he's fast. He is fast. Just looking at the team stats there, the disposal count, just plus 32. The Magpies there. So Richmond levelled it out in the second term. That was pretty much the margin at quarter time. Collingwood with a few more kicks and handballs, plus 22 on the kicks, plus 8 on the handballs. Inside 50. Richmond went inside their forward 50 a few more times there, which was good to see for them. 20-28. 8 scoring shots, 20 inside 50s, not too bad. 13 scoring shots, 28 inside 50s for the Magpies. Disposal efficiency, not too bad at 70. Both teams going above 70 there. Efficiency inside 50s, Magpies just up a little bit on 53. Tigers still on their season average. Tigers, though, they're getting the best of the free kicks out there at the moment, 10-7. Good to see the umpires really letting the game flow a little bit, so we're not, they won't need a new whistle for next week. We love to see the game just flow. Richmond, however, they're winning the hit-outs, 17-15. They're plus 2 there. Collingwood only plus 3 in the clearances, so there we go. It's showing you that the Tigers are doing really well, especially at the centre clearances, all tied up at 5 apiece there. It's just the Pies there, plus 3 on the stoppage clearance. Contested possession, well, there we go. 74-72. The Tigers plus 2. I think the Magpies, Craig McCraby looking, we need to be harder at the contest. That's what I was saying. The Pies pressure really looks to be down a bit today. They need to lift their intensity in the game. We do find that sometimes with the Magpies against the weaker opposition. Uncontested there, plus 30. Turnovers reasonably high in this game, 43-41 on today's game, going above season average for their turnovers. The marks all pretty even there, 41-44. It's just plus 3 to the Pies. Both teams had their marks inside 50 at just 5 apiece, as with the contested marks, 5 apiece. Tell you what, we're only a minute or 2 away from the bounce of the ball for the third quarter. It's going to be interesting. Tackles, as I was saying, this is what I was saying, that the tackle pressure is really low from both sides. They just need to lift their intensity, 23-22, especially the Pies. Pies should be up around 35 up until half-time minimum. That's their season average. Super duper low tackle count pressure they're out there this afternoon. We want to see that rise. We want to see that at least get up to their season average, 67. That is for sure. Tackles inside 50, both teams extremely low as well. 4. Well, Tigers are on their season average of 4, but the Magpies well under. They need to lift in that department. Absolutely 100%. This is what I was saying. Their intensity, their pressure is right down on this game so far today. All right, let's head back down to the ground with the commentators. We're only a minute away from the bounce of the ball, and they'll take us in to the third quarter. It's the Magpies by 20 points.
Teams aren't going to be part of September, and it looks like there's 9 of them already, isn't there? It's a big split. So exciting for the AFLW as we get closer. And we know that there is a big split in the men's at the moment, but how good is the final series going to be? You could mount a case for any of the 9 teams at the moment to pretty much make it all the way, as difficult as it will be for those teams that miss out on the double chance.
Absolutely. We look forward to this time of year every year. We get through the lull of winter and we come out the other side and...
You won't know what to do with yourself, Tom, let's be honest.
I can't wait. Weather starts warming up. The best teams go at it. We get some wonderful matchups, and as you said, just 4 points is so vital at this time of year.
The functions start. The cashies.
All right, we're just about set to go after a delay.
Josh in the middle, Josh Dacos in the middle, Nick Dacos at half back.
Yeah, which we saw a little bit of last week.
Yep.
And of course, unbelievable up on the Gold Coast for Josh Dacos as a midfielder in the back half as they came storming home. They're in front here as we start quarter number 3 with Hopper. A big load without Tim Taranto today. It'll give off to Banks. He's had an outstanding season. One of those middle band of Richmond players. Precise. The wing today, back through Green. Can get a little closer to goal. On that Curvis. It wasn't really what he was after. Ross. It's taken a while. Green. Oh, they're up early, the Tiger fans. Can hardly believe it, but you better believe it. Steely Green has kicked one of the great goals from the standing start. And the Tigers get just what they need at the start of the third quarter.
Yeah, there's life in the Tigers, and comes out in the form of young Steely Green. He's ice cold as he's kicked that. That goal that he kicked in the second quarter where he copped the contest and the contact in the hip and went back and finished from 50. But that is just a classy finish from the young man. Size him up. Had a look inboard. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. Didn't like what he see. And just to go back and finish from a pocket that can be very difficult to kick him from.
I'm not still convinced that he meant it. Do you reckon he meant it? I thought he was still trying to square the ball off, but it will go down as one of the goals of the year.
Well, it's his 22nd match in AFL. Geez, exciting.
Yeah.
A couple of big moments for the show reel today. So Cameron down to Prestia, grabbed by Josh Dacos, as the boys mentioned, starting in the middle in the second half. Here's another look at this.
He's going for goals there.
Okay.
He is now whenever he talks about it.
Ross to Banks, who sends it to a bit of space out there. Houston leads the foot race, and he's happy to see it out.
You're just looking across. Yeah, Dan Houston, we've spoken about how he's come back into the game.
Darcy, Toby.
He's only had the 4 disposals today. He'd be one player they'd love to get up and going on the eve of the final series.
It's been surprising, hasn't it? And Craig McRae said pre-game that he said from the start that it would take a while for him to fit into the system. And they do some damage again here, the Tigers. Hopper takes it wide, and
1 foot on the line.
it's out of bounds on the full. Not what Maynard had intended, obviously. Mansell.
We've just got to try and go around Darcy Cameron, who's the ruckman that's just charged towards the goal square.
Already one free goal from that pocket. Oh, Bolter just pushes Cameron over, drags the mark down, and it's been paid.
What? Well, he did that really well. He identified the fact that Cameron was coming back into his space and asked for it on his head to be able to use his assets and get at the footy. Maybe just got in his back a little bit, but then the sticky mitts.
A little bit, Tom.
He's a free kick any day of the week.
Who am I to say?
It's good self-awareness. So Noah Bolter, fair to say, it's been an extremely difficult year. And he drives that through. Something for him to smile about. And the Tigers have started this third quarter with a flourish. They've had a little bit of luck, and a little bit of luck goes a long way.
Yeah, well, there was 3 umpires watching the contest, and none deemed it right to pay the free kick. So you move on. So
it starts with the elbow, doesn't it? But then but then the hands push as well.
Yeah, but I think he gets his leading leg up underneath Darcy Cameron as he goes to step towards the ball and gets him a little bit off balance. So for me, it's great timing. Did he extend? Maybe there was a little bit of it, but great contested mark and finish.
If Jared Healy doesn't have your number, he'll soon have it.
I'll take it up with him when he calls.
So Richmond challenging here as Nankervis won it down to Hopper, who got it out to Prestia, but he threw it. So Long gets the free kick off to Josh Dacos. Long ball, leading out Membry.
There's good strong hands by Tim Membry.
Thanks, Pat.
Just shows the importance to go from a slow play in the middle of the ground. You see Josh Dacos running past, you just give it. There gives your forwards a chance, and the indication to move.
Right close to Jack, keep him out. Thank you.
Good strong lead.
So the rain has disappeared. It's a pretty still day. It's a good day for goal kicking, really. From a 45-degree angle. Tim Membry, straight and true. So a steadier for the Pies. He's kicked 2.
Good stuff, Jake. Great, mate.
It's a good response. I mean, you were down there at half-time, Tom. You said relatively dry conditions now.
Yeah, obviously the game here last night, but it was a touch spongy under the foot, but to be honest, on top of the grass, it seems quite nice. And Matt, you said it beautifully. There's not a breath of wind, so Yes, a fresh, cold Melbourne day, but when there's no wind, it makes goal kicking at the MCG. I don't want to say easy because it's never an easy task, but it certainly takes that swirliness that we've come to know that you face as a player at both ends when playing at the MCG.
The fishing celebration.
He continues to kick, deadly accurate. That's 11 consecutive goals. Tim Membry. And out of behind. And all the numbers come up on the rebounds. Sonsi fired out the handball. Too fierce as it was. Now Schultz is captured by Sonsi. 14 points the margin. Tigers have really taken it up to the Magpies in this area. The ground balls we just saw. And Curvis helps it forward. Had to wait for it to bounce. Maynard, he was wearing Mansell so close. Rioli joins the fray. And then Mansell has the time to turn and tackle. And Perryman.
Let's go, Cody.
Finger and all of that.
Rux. Toby, Darcy. Hold the meter.
Can the Tigers come again? And Curvis.
Play on.
Splits it with Cameron long to where he thought Nick Dacos might be. And he was right. Possession 23 takes them to Elliott at half forward. Broad does enough in the air. Pinsky disrupted. McIntosh versus Dacos. Stared off, held him at bay, but that just meant Chris could come in and right in front. And the chest mark is Member.
Need Chris, mate, please. Thank you.
A little bit further away, but relatively similar angle. Just hugged the right post. Last time it crept in. Jack Crisp just got on the boot. Memory playing in front.
Stay out of the protected area.
He's a little further out, as you said. He's kicked 2 goals exactly in the last 5 weeks. But I'm sure he won't mind going larger than that. Well, I guess he was due for a miss, wasn't he, after 11 consecutive goals?
Right.
But that's a positive for Richmond, obviously not for Collingwood, because they put 2 quick goals on. It would have been deflating for the Magpies to hit back straight away.
Yep, they get another chance to transition and they get helped and aided by a 50-metre penalty. So I think in these types of plays, if you can keep speed on the ball and really challenge Collingwood, that is the preferable way of going forward.
So the 50 brings Brown right into the centre circles, and then a long ball over the head of Bolter. Ball scrambles along the ground. Nick Dacos, that'll do to Sullivan. Then errant handball aiming for Lipinski, grabbed by McIntosh. Side bottom grabbed him. They go to ground. They get it out though, the Pies, to Nick Dacos. He had to be quick. Out to his brother Josh Dacos.
He got smashed, Nick.
And then Lipinski with the football just inside the centre squares, and then tries to lace out Elliott. It was a good spoil in the end. Hopper pressed. He has to be fast. Just scrounges the kick away. And now the Tigers can build as Mansell takes a diving mark, gives the drive-by to Prestia towards Rioli, just over-clubbed it a little. There's some Tigers in the background, but Collingwood stand firm. Josh Dacos to Nick Dacos and out to Sullivan. As the contest continues, Gloston out points in.
Goes it back to Miller. He used Sonsi on the way through, so he's continued on his strong form from last week. Takes off and adapts at the last possible moment.
Yeah, I think he saw Darcy Cameron once again, who's just gone in. He's got 30 metres out from goal.
Protecting the pocket. So, that was a surprise to Tresice, who was the target. Tidied up by Sonsi. Boston tries again. He does get the Magpie defenders what they want this time. Cameron to Long. Great pressure from Mansell that time, but Dacos survives. The first, but not the second. Just got it away from Steely Green. Boston goes again. Tiger fans wanted a free. Fumble from Miller, allows Maynard in. Went to ground, brings the crowd to their feet. Excitement levels list. The contact has at the MCG. Allen eventually prevails. Lipinski avoids the tackle to Dacos. Sliding ball heading for Elliott. He knew not to take possession. He knew to give it to Lockie Schultz. Rather unconvincingly is defended by Broad on the line.
It was clever, wasn't it, to keep the ball alive by Jamie Elliott. This is a bit of pace on the game at the moment.
Yep.
Certainly a bit of sizzle in the last 4 or 5 minutes. So short. McIntosh just pats it back to the advantage of full. Full extension on the kick. Bolter at the front. Stuck his legs out towards Moore. It was legal according to the umpire. Bolter goes foraging after it. Josh Dacos worried him out of it. Good gather. Inboard. Long volleyball tap to Nick Dacos. Then tries to get it back to Long. McIntosh was holding on to him. Long's loose ball out wide. Bouncing football. Taken by Tresize, Hopper, Fall, can't quite pick it up, but he's got a bit of time, and then comes off the body of Nick Dacos. It's a hot footy at the moment.
Yeah, it's great pressure, and I think Richmond have really lifted that part of their game. A real feature has been the chase down pressure. Tom mentioned it at half-time. They've set up the ground really well, which has allowed their forwards to get up and apply pressure.
Lockie Sullivan straight down into the rooms with the doctors and physios. Markov is warming up on the sidelines.
Thank you, Sarah. Back into play again. Tresize barely survived. Got the ball forward. Houston tries a second time to Long. Challenged by Sonsi. Was he taken high? Out of zone umpire. Certainly made sure the umpire saw it.
Yeah, good pick-up.
Yeah, the pressure's been the lead here, Richmond, at the start of the third. You love to see them try and challenge the opposition and take the ball off the line instead of just continuing to attack in straight lines.
They had a sensational third quarter last week against the West Coast Eagles. Different calibre of opposition, of course, this afternoon. But they're right in it. Margin is 16. A veteran.
Not to go around here. Yep. This is where their numbers are.
Big detour back to Broad. He mixes things up by using the corridor to Sonsi. Doesn't seem quite sure. Miller. Boston's out here on the wing, but he thinks he can creep a little closer. And backs up his thoughts with a nice kick. The trainer. Plenty of size deep. Fall. And Bolter are both there. And Fall. So close. Sims. Tackled by Moore. Crisp. Houghton. Mansell.
Yeah, well, the stoppage will allow numbers to get out, but it's good contest by Fall. He worked over Darcy Cameron.
A little bit of niggle here.
Be careful not to give away a free kick.
Houghton was involved there. Cameron's clearing handball. Trainer couldn't keep it in. Schultz almost did. Now the boundary umpire comes into play.
Rocks again. Hold that meter.
Oleg Barkov, who is the sub for Collingwood, keeping Moore down on the boundary. Cameron let it down. Side bottom. Gets away. Wobbly kick into the middle of the ground. And Brown was holding firm in front of Hoskin Elliott. So Brown wheels and goes. Penetrating ball. Inside forward 50. Moore waits at the back. Punch down to Long. He was grabbed. Out to Dean. And now Nick Dacos has a bounce. Looks further ahead. This is when he looks dangerous and then hits the chest of Hoskin Elliott, who charges towards goal. Kick in the Elliott direction. Couldn't quite mark it. Good spoil in the end. They both clatter into the boundary, into the point post. It goes through for a behind.
He's done that a couple of times today, Nathan Broad. That is brilliant. Saved a definite mark and shot a goal.
Short, loops it over the top. Pressed out. The Tiger veteran comes away, kicks to the wing. Good contest from Mansell, but even better the spoil from McStay because it allows Long to thrust it deep. Elliott and Myercheck overwhelmed by the numbers. Broad spoils. Schultz led the pursuit. It's over again.
Just looking the way the game has been played this quarter, Collingwood only the 4 marks, Richmond 13, so it has been a little bit more chaotic as we see Markov about to be injected into the game.
Late call-up specialist, of course. Don't know if he's been to Bunnings today or not, but wasn't expected to be playing. Jam back to Broad. Floats it for Ross. Decides to handball. Trainer did well to maintain his balance and his thought process, and now Short, as he likes it, a bit of space ahead. Took the 2 bounces and then gave it to McIntosh. And out to Nankervis. They're treading the fine trip by a hair, but so far so good. Bolter bangs it up. Allen knew what was coming. And he remains steadfast. He's able to take it ahead of Trossard.
Yeah, just one poor kick undoes all their good work. It's the last place you need the ball to end up.
Outside 5. You.
Couldn't use the turnover down the corridor, so again they're going via the cape.
Subbed out will be Sullivan for Collingwood. Markov to come on. Perryman hoists it towards half forward. Miller had a fair bit of it, dropped it. And Banks couldn't get a clean handball away. Crisp came in to Nick Dacos. Look at that. Lead terrific to Hoskin Elliott. Needed a couple of bites of the cherry, but eventually marks it in front of goal.
And they're so good at supporting the contest, Collingwood, whether it's down in their defence where they get numbers back and surge, but the ball comes forward. They have great representation in the contest. And then you can see it crisp. If it wasn't Mitchell, it was Dacos, and you had Quaynor on the outside as well. So good at supporting the contest.
Markov on the ground now. So Hoskin Elliott comes in. Kick nice and straight. And he's kicked 2 for the afternoon. So the Pies hold firm after the Tigers have had a good crack at them halfway through this third term.
It's a good pick-up, Tom. Even the last couple of opportunities that Richmond have gone inside their own forward 50, I think they've got past the contest. Collingwood have had numbers at the front of the contest, which has allowed them to transition the ball back towards their own goal. But this is just pressure around the ball, getting the ball in the hands of Nick Dacos, and looks inboard. Change of the angle, and then Will Hoskin Elliott not chewing up the leading space too early.
A couple of goals for Will Hoskin Elliott. So that's sub-made, Sarah.
Yeah, Lockie Sullivan is off. It's a knee injury. He did spend some extra time in the rooms at half-time and was late getting out there. So it will be interesting to see what the wash-up is.
Dacos read the Dan Curvis tap. Mitchell. Richmond still in the fight in the middle of the ground here. Perryman, though, to Josh Dacos. And now to Mitchell. He decided not to give to Nick. Instead, it was to Perryman. Rumbles the kick forward. Brown, he looks really like a custom-built defender, providing plenty of dash off half-back. They sweep forward again. Trainer's kick. Set up for the Dean spoil on Houghton. Perryman again, a rush ball, but better result that time. Side bottom Dean. Here's Sonsi cutting it out of Schultz's hands. Now Curvis to Ross. Houston.
Yeah, good pressure. Representation at the front of the contest is what Tom was talking about before.
Stand.
Not a lot of pride, but he did try and evade the tackle.
Outside 5.
Mitchell. Cautious little snug kicks.
Yeah, that's what they do. They move the ball towards the boundary.
Yep, out to Dean. And then Quaynor, he has the choice whether to go short or long. Puts it up for Myercheck and Membry. Hoskin Elliott's having a day. He's kicked 2 through Membry and side bottom. Perryman is not 15. That is the longest not 15 you've ever seen. He knees it forward as a result. Some disquiet amongst the Collingwood fans. Flick back to Broad, under pressure. Floston, just the man in the face you want to see. Having said that, he lost his footing. Back to Broad. Still they managed to work together. Trainer up against the line. Excellent by Chris. Off to Markov. Top of the square. Will Hoskin Elliott, the big leap. Matched by Brown and matched well. Into Nick Dacos. Onto the left. He rolls. Unmistakably, unforgettably, Nick Dacos kicks his third. Let's have a look. Get your measuring tape out.
At least 20.
Well, what you can actually use is the rugby union lines, the 22 metres, so it has gone over 15.
This is just brilliant. I mean, nothing should surprise us with Nick Dacos now, but not too many players in the competition can do that. Read the ball. You get to the front. Look at that, non-dominant foot.
Hey, Darcy, straight in.
I mean,
It's just brilliant play.
They could have raffled it in a way, and then I'm thinking Nick Dacos, he's had 12 score involvements. Let him get the ball and he'll find somebody inside forward 50, but just goes on the opposite and kicks it himself.
Complicated. Still 7 minutes to go in the third term, 31-3.
Complicated, but it was like shelling peas for the champ. It's almost unfair, isn't it? Then Curvis along the ground. Houston.
He had 43 career high last week. He could get better that today.
Houston towards Cameron. McIntosh bats it away. Side bottom. Now to Long. Sizes them up from 49. And again, as Brown goes lunging over the line, it hits the post.
Yeah, they're just wearing him down now.
They are, aren't they?
Yep. And with fatigue, with Richmond being a young side, you make mistakes. This is where Collingwood really love to live.
So Brown bats it out beyond half back. Sims made the contest, but Mitchell feeding Maynard, and then side bottom. 3 Pies leading the race for the ball. Houston makes it his own. Went to ground, so he had the handball to Maynard. That's fine. Mitchell. That's a rushed ball, as you can see. No sense of control. Ward picks it off. Goes to Sonsi. Full extension now to Banks. Not enough on the kick. Perryman, he's up the ante. So is Houston. The 2 primary recruits in the off-season.
Outside 5 now.
Back to Darcy Cameron. And then to Maynard.
Outside
The
5.
keeping's off for the Pies.
They're just changing gears. Happy to build the ball up in this instance.
Outside 5.
Tuning the kicking skills. Perryman.
Play on. Good.
Now bangs it up to McStay. 3 Tigers to be dealt with. He still found the footy. McIntosh, crash and bash, the high-check tackle. Multiple appeals go unheeded. Match high 30-point lead to the Pies. They've kicked the last 3 goals.
Back out here.
Then Curvis fists it only to side bottom. Beats one and then dances around the other. Handball errant though. Prestia grabbed by Houston. Nothing doing, long off the ground. Myercheck wasn't really expecting it. Didn't trap it. And then Schultz throws it on the boot. It's ugly off the boot, but it doesn't matter. Collingwood really putting the hammer down now. They lead by 6 goals.
They sure are. They're the ball's living inside Collingwood's half of the ground, and they just continue to put the foot on the throat. Look, we can call it a classy finish, but it's a bit like the Myercheck kick from earlier on. But from here, Geordie, we're seeing great signs from Richmond today. They've been in it up to their ears. Collingwood are just starting to push away, which we expected. What would you like to see in a response from them?
I think it's difficult once again when fatigue hits to then get the game played on your terms. You're playing against the best side in the competition. So there will be a breaking point. I think if you look at the Collingwood performance so far, I think Dan Houston's starting to get involved in the game, especially this quarter, which is good signs.
Out of the middle, Hopper. Can you give their defence a bit of respite and get it forward for the Tigers? Oh, Perryman just hacking away by any means.
High ball.
I still think you need to be brave if you're Richmond when you have the opportunity with ball in hand from a composed possession. Still look into the corridor, still try and involve. Handball receives.
Allen overruns it. Ross goes back to retrieve it for the Tigers. McIntosh absorbs the contact.
We haven't seen any defensive moves in terms of a 7th behind the play or anything like that at the moment from Adam Uze.
It's the headband. Smiles. We've seen all players that lose their headband have such a spirit towards that. Pies perhaps could have gone for the mark. There was 3 tools back there. Dean gets clobbered high. So 4 minutes remaining in this third term.
Outside 5.
Ooh. Well read by Prestia. Made the disruption, and Mansell has missed.
Probably had more time too. Good by Prestia. You've got to make those decisions on the run. Do you come up and impact the contest, or do you stay back? Gave themselves a chance to what looked like a relatively easy shot at goal.
Josh Dacos slices the kick. Marked by McStay. Having a good afternoon at the office. But the biggest office there is. Allen Chip over the top, Cameron.
Stand.
Cameron inboard.
That's on
As it's
5.
Perryman. Mitchell.
Stand.
So Keepin's off.
Clear out.
Just massaging it around, aren't they? And
Move it on.
dominating in this passage of play. He indicates he's going long. He's going to prop it up to full forwards. McStay, no. Membry barges his way through. Ross dispossessed. Grabbed by Elliott. Sniffing a goal. Classy snuck round the corner. Wouldn't be a Collingwood domination without a Jamie Elliott piece of magic.
No, it wouldn't. And again, they kick to a really predictable spot, but it comes off the back of, we've often seen Collingwood and the ball carrier when looking to take the long contest down the line where they start to point to a position, and Mitchell's done it twice in that chain. They have such great success. I've always struggled to wrap my head around the fact that you're telling the opposition what part of the ground you're going to. They don't seem to care. They just get the ball to ground if they don't mark it. McStay was able to mark the last one, but bring it to a predictable spot and then score off the back of that.
Here's the headband gate. Side bottom. He gave it back to him. He's going to try it on.
Very cheeky.
5 goals to 2 for the quarter. Lead expands to 41. The surprise was that it took Jamie Elliott this long, and they're heading his way again out of the middle. Mitchell's kick, Embry and McStay both there, zipping in Banks. Overruns it a little bit, now goes and gets it again. Didn't hatch it according to the umpire.
Danger zone again for Richmond. You see there, Jamie Elliott looks relatively free on the ground, going to mount him up now. Lipinski hanging off.
Been devastating from stoppage today. Elliott still wriggles loose. Sides to feed it back to Lipinski, doesn't quite get enough on it. Touch ball, so no mark anyway. Well handled by Foster. We've said that a lot today. And the kick even finds the target. Sims is located in the right spot to take the mark.
10th game of footy for Sims.
Move it on. Hit 2.
So it goes in a straight line. Cameron had 2 to beat to ground. Prestia, good tackle, Quaynor, spilled back to Prestia. Wobbly ball's good enough to Bolter leading out hard. Bolter
Rioli deep.
hesitates, called to play on, and then over the top of Rioli, spoiled from Houston, and eventually it just rolls out.
He almost had to use Rioli, then Bolter straight away. He waited for Crisp on the outside to get back, which allows Rioli's direct opponent, I should say, in Maynard to be able to take that front position.
Curtis worked his way to the front, long Lipinski, and then catted out by Ross.
Can they snag one here?
Rocks.
They snag a goal late.
Darcy.
You see the work that gets done off the ball to try and create a little bit of separation. Camden McIntosh as the winger just sets up defensively by himself.
Tiger fans try to stay positive. A lot to like about their season. They're just hanging in by a thread in this one now. Under tremendous pressure in this quarter by Collingwood. Spin around from Cameron. Ross got the handball. McIntosh, Houghton already has given us a glimpse into the future. And the future looks so bright. He's kicked his seconds. He's taken a tremendous mark. And now added a lovely slashing goal. He just has an abundance of footy instincts. We've seen that already in just a handful of games. And Scott Pendlebury, of course, is one of his mentors, along with Matthew Lloyd at Haileybury. So quite amusing that Pendlebury would have been playing against his student, if you like, his footy student, but unfortunately it was a late withdrawal.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it just goes to show how incredible, and we marvel at Scott Pendlebury and his journey, but that is quite amazing. But we've talked a little bit about the development of Richmond today, and the thing that I like about there is that they get the stoppage inside forward 50. They get an opportunity to catch their breath. The repeat stoppage gives them allows them to chain the ball out and find a play to finish.
So a little bit of a reward for some hard work as Nan Curvis's hands only to Cameron and then Nick Dacos. Markov back to Lipinski. And steadies so he can kick cleanly on the right to Elliott. Into the final minute or so of the third term as Elliott spins the kick towards the pocket, punched away from Mychek. Lipinski inboard, Long wasn't in the right spot, banks by hand to Sonzi. And now out to Ross, who goes for a bit of a gallop along the line. Tight ropes the boundary, marked by Perryman.
14th possession coming up. Perryman, he goes to Dacos. Didn't need much encouragement for that. 33rd disposal. Bit fist away by Mankervis.
Got it.
Pinsky can't quite. So 34 seconds. What's Nick on about now?
I don't know. I think
To the head.
Yeah, I think Maynard said he should have come back into the corridor, but he didn't hear him. He's sitting over the back of the stoppage here. He might get another possession.
Sonsi. Ross. Or Pinsky.
Got it.
I might nearly pencil Nick down for another one. He'll just hang off the back.
Another possession or another goal?
Darcy Toby.
Oh, equal career high 3 goals today. 10 off his career high possessions. And Curvis throws his muscle around. McIntosh gets it forward straight to Perryman. Oh, he went far off Jordan. Mitchell, blind handball, straight to Brown. They kicked 3 goals playing forward last year against the Pies. Finds Bolter, who thought he could play on, and he probably shouldn't have, but I guess the siren was about to sound, which it does. And at the end of it, it's been a quarter. It's a quarter where Collingwood have been dominant all year. They have been the third quarter specialists, and again that shows they've going into the final term with a 35-point advantage. Tigers hit them hard at the start of the quarter. And 3 for the term to the Magpies. 5 goals for, and it's a 35-point gap between second on the ladder Collingwood. They'll be back on top tonight, you would think, and the 16th place Tigers at the MCG.
All right. There we go. 3/4 time. The Magpies extending their lead. 12-10-82. Richmond 7-5-47. The Tigers putting on 3 goals, 1 in that third term. The Magpies 5 goals, 4. Well, they're a little bit better. I tell you what, the pressure actually did lift a bit in that third term by both sides, which was great to see, which was good to see. A bit more competitiveness from both sides. Still, the Magpies still haven't got their game plan going smoothly yet. You're right, M. King. I tell you what, Nick Dacos, what a champion. I tell you what, he is definitely the glue that's holding the Magpies together out there today. He is the level-headed fella. I tell you what, still one thing I'm noticing with the Pies, they're just bombing the ball instead of lowering their eyes a little bit. Instead of, going for that 20, 25-metre short pass, from the 70-metre mark, they're just tending to still bomb it in a little bit. That's one thing they certainly do need to rectify and get correct, certainly leading into the last 4 games of the home and away season. But still, all good news for the Magpies. They're doing well. They're getting the job done, which was expected. Look, the Tigers, hey, John, Dom, how you going? Hi, M. King from Jai, Aiken Deep. How you going? But now I forgot what I was saying. There we go. Look, the Tigers still pretty good outfit, but as you were saying, yeah, look, a young side, they're probably just running out of gas a little bit. But the one thing with the Tigers, they never give up. They never give up no matter what the scoreboard is. They're always out there. That's what's impressive about this young Richmond side. They keep fighting. They show that Richmond Tiger spirit. And they keep fighting until the end. Let's just have a quick look at the goal scorers now up until 3/4 time. We've got a few more there. Nick Dacos, the superstar. I tell you what, he's in for 3 Brownlow votes today. He's kicked 3 goals. Brody Mychek, Tim Membry with 2 with Will Hoskin Elliott. Lockie Schultz finally snagged 1. Daniel McStay, Jamie Elliott got 1 also for the Tigers. Tosh Houghton, Steely Green, the multiple goal scorers for them with a couple each. Tresize and Sims also have got 1 with Noah Bolter. I'll just have a quick glance at the disposal getters up until 3/4 time because we'll be back to the game in just a moment. Nick Dacos leads the way. The only one in the 30s at the moment, 33 touches. A ring-a-ding-ding game from Nick Dacos. 24 kicks, 9 handballs, 2 marks, 4 clearances, 3 goals. I tell you what, he is the general out on the ground this afternoon. Jacob Hopper doing it well there for the Tigers. He's on 26, Sunsade 23, Vlosten 22. They're the best for the Tigers. Brother Josh Dacos on 22, trying to stabilise that back line. There we go. Tom Mitchell, 21, a couple clearances. Dion Presti had 20 there for the Tigers. We'll just roll down a little bit, get a few of these up for you. There we go. Maynard on 16 with Lipinski. Toby Nankervis, 28 hitouts, 3 clearances, 15 touches for him from the big man. There we go. Sam Banks on 14 there for the Tigers. Lockie Schultz, 13 touches, no clearances. Just a 1 tackle, 1 goal, 1. Daniel McStay, well, he's been in a little bit, but still not the best game from him this afternoon. Richmond Tiger fans said, "G'day, how you going? Richmond's the best." I tell you what, the Tigers will be pretty good in, give them another couple of seasons. I think you'll see them climb the ladder next year without a doubt. Look, with the young players, still unseasoned at the moment, as they have been doing, especially against it. I mean, when they play against the top sides, they do give a good yelp. They do play reasonably well. They just seem to run out a little bit of gas late. But I think next year the Tigers will certainly start to climb the ladder, and the year after, the year after they could be in contention for position in the top 8 somewhere. I think, I like the Tigers the way they go about it. All right, let's head back down to the ground, and they'll take us into the action for the final quarter, where it's the Magpies in front by 35 points.
Gordon and Tom had a little bit of a disagreement. Was he having a shot or not? Did we come to a conclusion?
I think from behind, I just saw his eyes darting inside. Maybe Jordan might be right there. I thought from behind he looked like he was going.
Let's go yes. Let's go yes, and why not? But this man is having some sort of game. He's Nick Dacos, 33 touches, 3 goals, 12 score involvements, 7 inside 50s. Half of his possessions are centre forward, so that is maximum damage for a player like that. It's currently the 5th best performance by champion data ratings of the season, and the 6th best by a Collingwood player on record. So that's what sort of game Nick Dacos is having.
And we've heard the champion team talking all year, when he's getting uncontested possessions, that's when he's doing his most damage in a game, and that's what he's doing today.
Yeah, you're right, and you sort of look to where he gets those possessions. So 14 possessions centre forward, that means that he's getting possessions in dangerous spots, which means that this Collingwood side is using his impact to its absolute maximum.
So a test for the young Tigers, isn't it, going to this last quarter? Can they hang tough? Can they fight them all the way to the line?
And that rain getting heavier now as we kick off the final 30 minutes. Dacos with a handball. Mitchell, loose handball as well.
I mean, the umpire only played that because side bottom asked the question. He didn't knock him over. It was a bad decision.
So a rather
forceful contact.
Yeah.
confused Prestia on the markers, side bottom. Kicks towards the fist of Vlosten. Makes Dan Curvis handball after him. Then the big fella tries to throw his boot at it, not once but twice. Looked awkward, but he got away with it. Side bottom out to Markov. Slippery pill all of a sudden as that rain falls. Allen spreading handball out to Houston, diving out to Markov. Markov subbed on in the 3rd term. Slams it to McStay. Too far out to score.
Yeah, this is one where they sort of direct it to the pocket. Oh, it looks like it's in the top of the goal square.
So, to the hot spot. Oh, out the back, crisp. If he can control it. Myercheck in the end, pressured enough for a behind.
Sort of to what you're saying, Tom. The opposition knows where it's going. The Collingwood players know where it's going. It's still really hard to stop.
Miller trots in. Visible target is Trainer.
Not much movement further down the field.
Tigers still haven't activated this Elga, who was the late inclusion. Good juggling effort that time from Bolter.
Just got to go quick, Bolter. Too slow.
Hopper.
That's up 5.
Oh, Collingwood grid just moves a little further
Yeah, that's what you've got to challenge with, isn't it? That's why you think Bolter should have just turned and gone.
And Curvis is down there with Cameron. Try and match for numbers. It's fallen short of those. And he's popped back up again, Noah Bolter.
Reset himself forward of the ball.
That's the way to do it. See, that was his plan all along, Geordie.
Jack, stay out 10.
You're smarter than we think.
Lockie with Thanks, Lockie. No closer.
Be a hell of a kick if he can nail this.
He is one of the biggest kicks in the game. Not sure how much energy he's got left after the meterage he had to cover. We've seen some great goals today. It's close-ish.
Looked like it wanted to come back. Stayed straight in the end.
Coming out, Doug. Straight out top.
Just wonder how Collingwood would play this last quarter. In terms of being really conservative with ball in hand.
A 6-day turnaround. Playing next Saturday night.
Here. You back, good. You. Yep.
Tigers work the key and marked by Ross.
Stay out. Stand.
4 goals this year.
Nick, back 5.
Jack Ross, he's pointing to kick it long, and that's exactly what he does. Piercing ball towards the top of the square, but Quaynor a good defensive mark over Bolter, and then finds the sternum of Markov and plays on quickly to Myercheck.
Just pauses for a moment, then takes the invitation to move forward. Markov kept on coming. Membry.
He'll get it again here, Markov.
An offering from Lipinski, but brings it back into the middle to Dacos. Possession 35, back to brother Josh. Choppers it forward on the bounce. Houston with a get-out handball to Cameron, who was captured through it. Play on the call. Houghton with precision to Sims. Equal numbers if he gets it in there quick. And he does. Puts it out in front. Mansell had every opportunity. Left the footy behind. Now he's chasing. So is Sonsi. Claimer and Dean try and get things sorted for the Pies. Side bottom. Houston's a handball out to Crisp. Down the line he goes. Took out the middleman. Goes to McStay.
Outside 5. Outside 5.
Myercheck and Membry both there issuing instructions, and Cameron's trying to take Nick back to goal, give him some of his own medicine. Swings it in instead. Mitchell's choice. It was a pretty easy one to Schultz.
Yeah, just the change of the angle allowed the leading lane to open up to Lockie Schultz.
Oh, watch Nick Dacos.
Off to Nick Dacos. Oh. Searching for his 4th. Couldn't find that kick. Out of there by Ross. Houston, straight line to goal. It's a good guide to follow. It's where Collingwood could get better as we head towards September. Prize recruit Dan Houston puts it through. He is the master of the long goal. It's his first for the afternoon, and the Magpies lead goes back to 41 points.
Yeah, it's a nice finish by Dan Houston. You'd think that if you give him the ball anywhere inside 50 to have a shot, he would just about take from 50 or 45 and closing on the run. But lovely finish for him. But you sort of pose the question a little bit, what does the last quarter look like for Collingwood? With the run that they've got leading into finals and it being a challenging one, you'd love to really see them put the foot on the throat here. Yes, it's wet. Yes, it's contested. But they still seem to be changing angles and moving the ball really well. I'd love to see them start to pile on and put some real pressure on this side.
How massive are these 3 weeks coming up? Brisbane, Hawthorn and Adelaide.
It's huge.
Back in the Houston direction, and Quaynor going to try and work it out. Mansell pressures them. On the ground it goes. Markov. Oscar Elliott roars for it, receives it. Then off a step, it's an up and under. Elliott with some work to do. Broad with the spoil. Ball to be won. Mitchell goes in. Slippery football. Lipinski over the top. Cameron out to Hoskin Elliott. Little chip to Myercheck. Gathers, slips, under pressure. Back to Elliott. Lipinski is running too fast for his own good. And the Tigers can clear as Short spreads towards Trainer, but he's under pressure. Schultz infringes with a push. And Trainer plays on quickly, so the Tigers through Vlosten can leave D50. It's in the hands of Hopper. So Hopper's kick, aggressive enough as they work it through the middle. Short kick inside 50, Bolter.
They might try and find another one here.
Kick towards Rioli, and he marks it, and then unselfish to Fall, who slots it. Jonty Fall with his first goal after kicking 2 last week. And they've hung in there well, the Tigers. They're 8 for the afternoon.
I mean, it was a good mark by Rioli in the end, but I think the handball further afield to Jaden Short really broke open the play. It was probably the handball they weren't able to get. I mean, Quaynor could have really probably smashed Rioli, but decided not to in the end. And it became a relatively easy goal. And selfish handball over the top. It's just that handball in between the arcs allows you to keep playing quick and bypass the layers of defence that Collingwood were able to maybe not set up on that occasion.
Back after it again in the middle. Hopper to it first. Through it. Good hassle from Schultz, getting some on-ball time to Mitchell. Rioli was only a metre away. Houston. Elliott casting the role of a rover here. Side bottom had a bit to contend with. Play on the call. Out of zone umpire said holding the ball, even though the umpire in control had a perfect view of it.
Yeah, it's a bit head scratching. Still side bottom asking the question to the umpire that's closest to you. How did he make the decision?
That's on 5.
The one who decides there's a free always gets the right of way over the ones who decides. Makes a decision.
Bizarre, isn't it? Yeah.
They're not. Down the line, Miller. Cameron, he got up. He wasn't sure what to do next. Schultz to Long, fearlessly as ever to Mitchell.
Oh, wow.
They bought exactly what he was selling. Neat little step, and then again he delivers beautifully into the 50. And Miller goes about 10 metres over the mark, but because he put his hand up, the umpire almost went into the ground. Chaos here at the MCG, but not for Jamie Elliott. He'll bring the calm, and he might just bring his 48th goal for the season. We know he hadn't kicked 40 in a year before this one. Exactly as you expected. Although it's short, so it probably wasn't. Well defended.
Let's go, guys.
At the line, but at the distance and precise as the defensive wingman. Make sure that they don't concede another goal, and the game stays at 36 points.
Stand!
So Broad. The spectators have ducked for cover with some rain early in the fourth quarter. It's been on and off throughout the afternoon.
You, mate. Yep.
Miller to McIntosh. Sonzi.
Stand! Play on.
So they've hung in there, the Tigers. And Sonzi's going to switch. Remembers side and trainer. So quite open here. Then he handballs to a 50-50. That wasn't the right option at all. Crisp was right there. Allen received it from Schultz, Lipinski. Then Crisp kept running. He then palms it off to Membry, who saunters in from 40 and misses.
All the Richmond players just trying to work out why it turned back into congestion. It's where the Collingwood numbers were. That's why Collingwood were able to transition the ball relatively easy.
They'll learn so much, these first-year Tigers, won't they, this year?
I think they've done some good things, even throughout this match, against arguably the best side in the competition.
Well, they've had a fair few injuries again to deal with, but Adam Uze, it's probably bought him a bit of time as well, and a bit of pressure off, and he may even get a contract extension. Who knows?
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later. Rioli just inside the line, jabs it inside, and Mansell reaches up and takes the mark. And they're not giving up yet in this one, the Tigers. This to cut the margin to 31. You never know.
I like what he's done. He looked like he wanted to pass it off early. But I like how he's just gone back, Set himself, Rioli. I think Quaynor was asking the question whether that was out.
Oh, Morris palmed off the last one as he set up another goal. Skippity skip for Mansell. And the boot is not true.
So Maynard has time for a bounce. And a wobbly old one, but it's going to work. Shorts couldn't quite grab the football. Taken over by Jaden Short.
Ruck, thank you, Tom. Collingwood ruck, Ned. Tom and Ned.
Just a little bit huddled there.
So Sims in the ruck. McIntosh loses his headband again. And that was questionable from Trainer, who was clearly looking for the boundary line, but a throw in. So there's Maynard, who sauntered out of defence, and then he just, at the last moment, was contacted by fall and picked himself up proppy there, Maynard.
He's holding his ankle or foot.
Another stoppage here on the wingers, we believe. Jasper Elger, the man with arguably one of the better nicknames in the league, Rhythm, is about to come on.
Trainer subbed off for the second week in a row.
High ball, mate. Six sides. Yep. Tom and Ned again.
Explanations.
Back out here, Camden.
Matabuzo, you'll have a few workable moments, teachable moments.
Yeah, I was probably talking about that last play. Yep.
Long wide,
which is what he's there to do, to educate his players.
One foot on the line, Brody. We're outside five, yep. Move out now. I got it, mate.
Played every game, Luke Trainer. Confident kid.
Is that the first deliberate out of bounds we've seen today?
Sent up. I think we may have seen one earlier.
Yeah. I trust you on that one.
Just having a week off. That rule.
Play on, touch.
Day off, down the line, Miller. As if he needed any help. Straight to Nick Dacos. Oh, the slide. Jamie Elliott leaves it behind. Well done from short. Leave it up and back they go through Prestia. All the way back to fullback.
For 37, Nick Dacos. Next best is Tom Mitchell with 25, Josh Dacos with 23.
Possession was the thing on the way out.
Well, they can turn and go here.
Can open up for Sonsi. They have at least equal representation. In fact, one more down the line. He recognises that now. Mansell worked beautifully off the back of Houston. Bolter is camped in the pocket. And Fall is there as well, who can run and jump. A little bit disrupted. Josh Dacos adapts the handball, side bottom. Yeah, it wasn't Rioli tackling, so he got it away. But Richmond do win the ball back, ultimately. Brown reaffirmed his footing. Searching ball for Sims. Surely his arm was dragged down. By Maynard? No.
Fish. Come through, mate.
And we'll have a throw in.
Rucks, please. Dan. Richmond, Tom.
So McStay goes himself. Only to Sonsi. Easy work for Elliott and Crisp.
It's a bit easy in the end for McStay. Sims looks very tight in the ruck.
So he wins that one down. As fatigued as he is, Prestia wraps it up.
What a great learning opportunity for him, though, to be able to come up in the ruck, play 4 quarters.
So Mitchell scrounges the handball out. Elliott went without it. That was clean from Sonsi, out to Hopper, who trips over himself, but Maynard gathers. Mitchell, side bottom's going to be fast. And he gets it away. On the side of the boot in the end over Membry. Now Nick Dacos racks up another one. Round the cause it going to bounce. Brown hit it hard, picked it up, which was good. And then his little kick was cut off by Membry. So the Pies can load again. And on stat watch, Dacos 38 disposals, 28 kicks, 10 handballs. Membry goes corridor, side bottom where it all started. Out to Josh Dacos, spots Hoskin Elliott in the pocket and almost found him. He dropped it. Mark off the sub. Just a little bit too hot for him and out of play.
7.5 to go. The crowd just under 60,000 at the MCG.
Hold the footy.
It's not bad for home and away 2v16, is it?
Not
Yeah.
bad at all.
Two big clubs.
Tiger fans have seen enough, haven't they, this year, to be so encouraged and to support. Smashed forward by Long. On the line, Miller. Bounce pass, that'll suit Tresice. Chug his way out of there with a bounce of his own to Sonsi.
Good run.
And it was from Tresice. Water with another handball. Down to Elga, gets involved in the game now. To the inside, to Ross. Where next? Oh, back to Elga. Had him ready. Rioli is deep. So is Fall. Yes.
Well done. That was really well worked. From deep in your defensive 50, basically the goal line that was kept in. The run, the carry, and to think your way through. We see there Tom Lynch admiring the work of Fall on that occasion.
It's a bit like Tom Lynch in his early days. He was like in a club with a lot of young players and had to learn the lessons. So Lynch has been able to obviously help him, but he's also been absent a fair bit also.
Yep.
So Fall kicked multiple goals last week for the first time. So he is taking steps. The man inside there, big steps that he's taking, but he misses that shot for goal.
Yeah, no doubt Tom Lynch would have had an impact on the development of the Richmond key forwards, and they get those down back as well. Ben Miller, you can throw in that conversation as well.
He's a highly paid forwards coach, isn't he, at the moment?
The highest.
I know they would love him out there, absolutely. He's battled through injury and then some indiscretions, we'll call them, out on field, but he is. He would be. He'd be in there every day working with these players, developing them.
So Allen fighting for it over the top. Hot and Crisp's quick hands. Short tries to trap it. Houghton over the top and stacks on.
Tom, while we've got you here and talking about key forwards, Jeremy Cameron last night, 11 goals. Could he get to 100, including finals this year, do you think?
Yeah, they're going to have to play 3 finals, but he's absolutely a chance, you'd think.
There's a bit of clickbait.
Got the headline you wanted.
McIntosh could have been taken high, was taken high. And advantage paid, and then Ross used up that advantage. Houghton dives in. High contact against Mitchell, so advantage paid again. And then he almost blew the whistle before acceptance is there, the umpire. As was short, dropping the football, but repelling now the Pies. More Mitchell, little fake, little dance, and gives ground to Maynard. So considering we've got a team heavily considered for the premiership, you'd have to say for Richmond, this has been a pass mark today.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched these two teams fight it out in the pre-season and went away thinking Richmond weren't going to win many games of footy at all. And
Many or any?
I did say none, but
you weren't alone. Schultz into the pocket. Oh, he found a way. He found a way. And we shouldn't be surprised by that. Now, is he going to take his time here, Nick Dacos? Even by his standards, this has been a pretty special performance. 38 disposals, 3 goals, and he couldn't make it a career high for.
yeah,
Might be a spell in the VFL for him after that.
I went away getting back to the point was that Collingwood are going to be a very good side, but Richmond have just continued to develop.
Rioli just shunts off Quaynor, then pats to himself. Now the foot race. Rioli butts it to the advantage of Fall. Quaynor didn't give up. Perryman back towards Dean. Is he going to sit up for him? A little fumble, then Perryman went to ground. Trundles it along the ground back to Tresice. And then Ross. Good ball to Mansell.
Well, goal square's open if he wants it.
Doesn't go goal square, but he goes to Elga.
Well, Bolter's still there. He's going to go back and take his chance.
Will, go with him, please.
So this is his 4th match. He's kicked 2 goals in his career to date. So can he use up the clock?
Everything too.
Another of the young bucks for Richmond, 18 years of age. So So Elga, deliberate approach, starts it right, never deviated. Missed kick in the end.
Keep going out,
We've all
Noah.
been there as pass players, Geordie, when you
Keep
probably
going.
know you should pass it to Bolter, but you desperately don't want to after sitting on the bench for the first 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, you take your opportunity.
You, mate.
Precise kick from Josh Dacos.
Outside 5. Outside 5.
Crisp with the mark. So Nick's on 39 disposals. He's going to get busy if he's going to beat the 43.
Outside 5.
Probably not front of mind for him.
Outside 5.
Actually, maybe it is. he's looking for the little short.
Leave it on. Play on.
Josh turns him down.
You.
Kicks it along the wing.
Let's go, Josh.
Cameron and Schultz headed away by Floston. To press to Hopper. Fires it back. Side bottom. Here's Nick Dacos. Delayed the give. Oscar Elliott.
Play on.
Take a looking board. They'll see him.
He's seen him. Oh, he dropped it. Perryman, awkward. That counts. Long to ground. Hoskin Elliott. Here's another one. 42. Over the top. Back to Hoskin Elliott from long again. So slow progression, but they got there in the end. Markov, full flight. Magpies, big build-up. Here comes Lockie. Schultz, but he can't get the fly.
Oh, it's nearly a free kick. Yeah. Yeah, good call by the ump.
It's Floston.
Yeah, I think it was Precise.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah. That blocks Lockie Schultz's run. Just a little bit too obvious.
Yeah, he took his eyes off the ball, didn't he, Geordie? Which is a clear sign for the umpires to be able to blow the whistle and give the free kick. And in the end, Lockie Schultz played that really well. That's a guy that's played a lot of football ahead of the ball.
He's had an interrupted season with injury, but he's fit and firing and also hitting the post.
Nick Dacos is on the bench now, so the stats may stop for a bit.
There's only a minute to go.
Spoil sport,
Did he
Craig
take himself
McRae.
off Sarah or the runner come out?
Sent him back out there.
I'll see if I can get him back on for you.
So 42 possessions, 31 kicks, 11 handballs, and his brother just a lazy 30 touches as well. Minute to play.
Holding. Noah Bolter. Richmond.
So Bolter with the free kick. 13th touch. And then full extension on the kick. Penetrating ball. And emphatic at the front of the pack from the Pies.
Take him out, Josh.
Cameron with the defensive mark with 31 seconds left to play, Anthony.
Well, Nick had 42 when these sides met last year. So he's done it again. He averages more against Richmond than any other team.
Outside 5.
Won't be hurt by his numbers today. But, the Magpies have done enough.
Outside 5.
Final margin will be 36 points.
Play on.
So they haven't had the landslide win that others have over the weekend. But the real business is to come in the next 3 weeks for the Magpies. They've seen off the Tigers at the MCG, and now they get ready for the team they conquered in the 2023 Grand Final, Brisbane. And then the Hawks and the Crows on the run to September. Collingwood win by 36. Top of the ladder with a month to go. Still the team to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought we talked about Richmond's development and their growth, and we saw that on display. The young players are getting better, but Collingwood were clean. The numbers read really well for Collingwood today. You would love to see them push the margin just a little bit further, but conditions wouldn't have helped.
Didn't hurt this bloke. That is, Sarah.
conditions certainly didn't hurt Nick Dacos at all. What a performance. You're back on the winners list. They made you work for it. What was your assessment of that game?
Oh, absolutely. We knew coming into the game, regardless of their ladder position they're going really well. They've won their last two, and we knew we had our work cut out for us. So I think the boys were awesome all day in sort of testing conditions, and Richmond were really good as well.
Talk to us about the conditions, because particularly early when it was raining, it was slippery, the ball was like a cake of soap, but you look like you didn't have any issue with you. Do you relish playing in the wet?
I don't know about that. I put a bit of grippo on and the ball wouldn't leave my hands after that. So, no, I think we're really well accustomed to the wet weather. It suits our game style as a team. And as I said, we played really well today.
42 disposals from yourself today. The boys were a little disappointed when you went to the bench late. How are you feeling this late in the season, your body and mind, as we head towards September?
No, I feel really good. It's not about me. It's about just contributing every week. And Fly does a great job of sort of resting players and putting players in different positions for a freshen up. I sort of play everywhere on the field the last few weeks, which I've really enjoyed. And the team's going really well. Even though we lost our last two, we think our game's in great shape. So it's exciting.
Let's chat a little bit more about your role, because you did spend a high percentage of time in the midfield. How do you work it out with Fly during the week? How you assess the opposition, or is it a lot of on-the-run coaching out there?
Yeah, I don't think it's so much about me and what I do. It's just sort of about reading the game. If there's ebbs and flows, or we might need to stem some of the momentum of the opposition, might go behind the ball and play as a defender, or if we need to create, I'll go forward. So I'm just really fluid, as a lot of the boys are. We move positions, and we think it throws a different look at the opposition too.
Big opposition next week. The Brisbane Lions here at the MCG Saturday night. It is going to be a big game, and these are kind of challenges you really get up for at this stage of the season.
Oh, absolutely. We're so excited. I'm sure Brizzy are too. So no doubt we'll have the Magpie Army come out, and it should be a great game.
Well done today. Enjoy the win. Get out of this rain.
Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Good stuff from Nick Dacos. So we have a look at some of those clips of the day. Tom Hawkins, tell us what you saw, what we all saw with the way he played today.
Oh, we saw his issue that he had with the grippo, found him all over the ground. We couldn't get the ball out of his hands. But the thing that goes along with the 3 goals and the 14 score involvements, the 42 possessions is just how clean he was. He used the ball at 71% efficiency today, and he's a classy player, has been for a few years now, and it's just hard to believe that a player like this is doing what he does at this early stage in his career, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but that's the reality for Nick Dacos.
Back to you, Sarah.
I've got Tim Membry with me. How much are you loving life as a Collingwood player? Top of the table, heading into September, just over a month away, and yourself in fantastic form.
Oh, I mean, it's great. Very, very fortunate to be in the position that we are. You know, the boys have played really good footy this season, and the midfielders are just doing an outstanding job and getting the ball forward, and forwards are getting on the end of it.
Been a big couple of weeks for you. You had a new addition to the family, little baby Ted. How's it all going? Did you get any sleep?
Ted's been awesome so far. He's sleeping. It's the 2 older rugrats. They're fighting over him, and want him every second. But it's all going well, and Mum's doing awesome too.
Loving your contribution today, and we've got a little goal celebration we want to show you. We need to drill into this, because we're seeing them right across the competition at the moment. All you young kids are coming up with all the fun stuff. What's this one about?
One of my mates from back home is a mad keen fisherman, and he caught a big cod recently, and he said if you kick one, give us a hook set. So I thought, why not? I always forget to do stuff though, but I remember that time.
So you picked the fishing celebration over something for your baby? That's not normal.
Yeah, I know. I should have gone the baby, but anyway, it's a bit of fun. Talk
to us about your own form. You're on 26 goals so far for the Puds this year. In the last 5 or so years, your most for St Kilda was 34. So you're well up there with the best footy you've played in previous seasons. Yeah, I mean, like I said at the start, it's just great to be a part of a forward line that, so experienced and work together really well. And I mean, all I wanted to do was just come in and play a role and, work with the other keys. And, I mean, we've got some elite small forwards as well. So, and to get on the end of a couple, it's always nice. Was Nick Dacos playing with the same football as everyone else today? Honestly, when he calls for it, you just got to give it to him, because he just makes something happen. He's an absolute freak, and, he works so hard too on his craft. So there's no doubt he's playing good footy. Tell us about the prospect of playing the Brisbane Lions here on the MCG next Saturday night. That is going to be huge. Obviously, the last 2 premiers, the challenge that they present, how big is it? Yeah, I mean, they're an exciting team. They play an aggressive brand of footy, so we're going to have to be at our absolute best to get that job done.
we're always ready for a good challenge, and to be back out here on the G, we're looking forward to it.
What's the competition for spots like at the moment? We saw a host of regular senior players playing VFL at Frankston last night, guys who normally would be in the side, obviously managed and coming back through injury, but it feels like the competition's tough and it's bringing out the best football in you all. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm glad that's not my job, is picking the side, because there are some, there's superstars across the board, but, there's guys that are playing just an exciting brand every week. And, I mean, it's not my job, so I'm happy just to play footy.
We better let you go and find the teammates. I think they've left without you. Better run in there and see if you get the song. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, might have a bit of a wait for him to get inside. But again, canny recruiting by the Magpies, isn't it? I mean, they added the defenders in Perryman and Houston, who obviously came at a cost, but Tim Membry was basically a free addition for them.
Yeah, it's all gone to plan, and Tim obviously brings experience and a lot of it, but I just love the way he plays, and I watch him pretty closely today, how he works up the ground, provides an outlet when they're exiting sort of their defensive half of the ground. He can also find the ball with his clever leading patterns inside forward 50 and just complements the players that they have down there. He talks about the elite small forwards, but I think his role is crucial in the way that he leads and demands the football inside forward 50. So really happy for Tim Membry as a player that's been a bit of a journeyman to find a spot, and hopefully his form continues over the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, they've gone 2 long weeks without singing the song. I guess 3 since they've done it. The Magpies, pretty sure they'll remember the words, though. Hasn't happened too often under Craig McRae. Certainly losing 3 in a row hasn't. Only on 3 occasions previously. They didn't do that today. They've got home by 36 points and are back on top of the ladder. Did what they had to do, the Magpies, and got home by 36 points. Plenty of issues, as always, to talk about, in their coach, Craig McRae, with Matthew Nix, will be the guest on Coach's Night on AFL 360, so that should be fascinating viewing, and then dissecting all that we've seen in this round 20, and casting an eye ahead to the month leading into September. Will be Jack, Geordie, Jonathan and Nathan on the couch. Tigers, we've talked about them through the day, but after a couple of wins in a row, an encouraging performance again for a fair bit of today. Let's have a look at what they have to come. The only top 9 team they beat this year, the Gold Coast Suns, will be nice and fired up, I'm sure, because of that. And then St Kilda, North and Geelong. So certainly they'd have their eyes on St Kilda and North, wouldn't they? I think that they could maybe add to those 5 wins.
And it's a really important way to finish their season. So the reality is for Tigers fans and the Tigers supporters sitting at home is that they're a developing side. We've seen some of their youth be exposed to big games, and although not finals football, these types of games have that kind of atmosphere with the way that Collingwood want to play moving forward. I wrote down at the start of the game that they're taking it up to a number of really good sides in the Suns, Giants and Brisbane, and could they do that today? Now, I think they would walk away and be really positive. A tick probably is. We saw some really crafty things, and you can just tell that Adam Uze is starting to, teach along with his coaching staff, teach these young players, the methods that's going to hold them in good stead for the future. Not only just for now, but I was really impressed with some of the performances and just the little moments those young individual players had throughout the game.
Well, it was their chance to steady the ship, wasn't it, as far as the ladder is concerned, after a thumping win from Adelaide last night. So they're back top of the pops ahead of Adelaide. Brisbane, but 1 plays 3 next Saturday night. What a big part of Super Saturday that is going to be. And that fight for the top 4 is on, with Geelong, Hawks, GWS and Fremantle all together on 52.
There is a world where even if they win 2, Collingwood, it's unlikely, their top 4 position could be under threat if certain other results go the way, and could come down to percentage, but most likely they're going to be top 2, aren't they, Ben? You would think. But what a race it is for that last spot in the 8, and then for the double chance, and then for the home finals, which all could be important in the campaigns of the various teams.
And we love a last round clash for the 8, and the Bulldogs play Fremantle in round 24, so that could be something.
Yeah, it certainly could be. The Magpies will be there again under Craig McRae. 3 out of 4 years. They've won the one flag. He could win 2 in 4 years. Tommy Hafey was the last to do that when starting out as a coach.
Again, it's stating the obvious, but you mention it then, Anthony, that the top 2 is just so important, particularly for Brisbane to play and get the opportunity to have a crack at 2 home finals. This Collingwood side, Adelaide, can they keep winning? Can they keep marching towards a top 2 finish? Wouldn't that be incredible from where they've come over the last couple of years?
Yeah, well, Brisbane's lost yesterday. Not just the manner. I mean, that was in some ways the most amazing thing wasn't how much they lost by, but where it now leaves them vulnerable playing against the Magpies next week. All right, somewhere down in the rooms there, I think is Sarah and Joy. Sarah?
Yeah, and we've got the Collingwood skipper, Darcy Moore, with us. That was a pretty tight tussle, difficult conditions early. What did you make of that game?
It really was, yeah. It was raining clearly early for the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game, which meant it was a bit of a scrap, which I felt like a young team like Richmond, who play with a lot of energy around the footy, and their pressure's pretty good. It sort of suited them, so we had to match them in that phase. But once we did that, dried up a little bit, able to arrest a little bit more control of the game, and take our chances going forward.
Yeah, I mean, you got first-hand look. Rioli had a couple of really good efforts. You certainly know when he's in the area. I think the game, the result was probably predictable, but you must have been impressed by the bits of play that Richmond were able to contribute.
Oh, 100%. I mean, when a team like that, they play with great energy, and off turnover in particular, you got guys like Vlosten and Broad in the back half who are turning it over quick, and then some quick, crafty forwards that are making us pay at the other end. So, we had to be on, and I think it's exciting times for them for the future.
A powerful second half by you guys. It was all like the damn wall was always going to break at some stage. A player that never ceases to amaze us, Nick Dacos again. His performance was outstanding.
Yeah, he was incredible. He just lights us up in the midfield there. I think today he was just so clean, wasn't he? When others are fumbling and taking 2 or 3 goes at the footy, he takes 1. So, he was super impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you've been around at the top of the ladder for a while now. How do you think this team is placed to attack not only the next 3 weeks, which will be generally tough, but the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, we've been building all season. Like, that's what's really pleasing. We work super hard on our game during the week. We're training really hard at the moment. Our training loads are quite high. So we're really trying to sharpen our sword for the end of the season. And I think, the last couple of weeks we've
ball's going everywhere.
Performed. There's kids running around everywhere. We performed really strongly. Some of our numbers from last week were really, really strong in terms of inside 50s, pressure rating. We lose the game by a point, but we take a lot out of that. So we have a great ability to kind of stay in the moment and just keep sharpening our sword for the important stuff come finals.
We might have the next Nick Dacos, next father-son from Collingwood
There's
here.
a ball going to hit us at some stage.
They'll be pulling up this archival footage in about 10 years when these kids are running around.
They will. From a personal perspective, just want to get your thoughts. Obviously, last week, Patrick Voss, all the goals he managed to kick, I know they weren't all on you, but the coach put it on you saying he wanted a bit better performance from you. You would have taken that personally. You're such a fierce competitor. How did you handle that from your own game's perspective?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, clearly last week Freo brought a really physical approach to me, and it was definitely a challenge. Had to work through it, but today I thought it was a real team defence game. It's slippery conditions. When the ball's skidding on, you've got to be set behind the footy. Otherwise, you'd be doing a lot of chasing back to goal. So personally, I've loved working with Charlie Dean back there the last few weeks. Braden Maynard's always fun to play with as well. So those guys have really, really supported me, and it's good fun.
Be able to get the old man Scott Pendlebury back into the side. He's had a rest, and then Brisbane next week. It doesn't get much bigger than that.
Totally. Yeah, we can't wait. We love playing against the Lions. It's always a big game, and we look forward to having Scotty back.
Gus, great to chat to you. It is going to be huge. We can't wait. Fox Footy next weekend. Brisbane and Collingwood here at the MCG. Go and enjoy the win and see if you can get a kick with the youngsters.
Thanks, Jonesy. Good on you.
Thanks,
all right, we are going to head across now to Marvel Stadium. It is the Demons in control.
All right, so there we go. Game, set, match here. The Magpies come away with a reasonably solid win, 13-15-93, defeating the gallant Tigers, 8-9-57. Well, they got the job done. Tigers, 1 goal 4 in that final term. The Magpies could only put on 1 goal 5. So the bit of an inaccuracy in that final term from both sides. You know, as Darcy Moore was just saying, you know, they're just going about their work, trying to sharpen themselves up, getting everything set and ready for not just next week, but for finals as well, which is most important. I think, Paul, you know, you got 8 winners this week, and I have Melbourne too. Santa, well done. Nick Dacos, 0-1. So that's the final. That is the final score. Magpies by 6 goals here this afternoon on a cold winter's day here in Melbourne. There we go. Santa, all very good. I was just saying, the Gold Coast Suns look fantastic there yesterday, and of course so did Adelaide. Certainly both contenders this year. Now I forgot what my train of thought, but that's what I was going to say. But look, it's good that the Pies have got some tough games running into the finals. I think that is so important. I definitely prefer to play the tough games running into the finals to try and sharpen yourself up for the top sides than playing the lesser sides down outside of the top 8 to try and just to have comfortable wins. But that's where I was saying where that might 31 degrees there. Oh my gosh, it'd be nice to be over there in Thailand. Tell you what, we've only got a month left of winter here, thank goodness, and then hopefully it's going to get a little bit better. But I think that's the danger for Geelong. They're going into the final 4 games of the season playing all sides outside of the top 8. And I think when you play the teams in the top 8, I think that certainly can sharpen you up a little bit, bring the intensity back into your game, and get that killer instinct back in. Hey, let's just have a quick look at the team stats before we end this one and pop over to the Melbourne St Kilda game over there. All right, best on ground without doubt. Nick Dacos, he topped the table with 3 goals there out on the field for the Magpies. Brody Mychek, Membry, Will Hoskin, Elliott, all with 2 goals for the Magpies. Schultz, McStay, Houston, Elliott, singles for the Tigers. Taj Houghton got 2 with Steely Green. Trasai, Sims, full. Noah Bolter were singles. Of course, the ball magnet out on the ground this afternoon was Nick Dacos, 42 disposals, 31 kicks, 11 handballs, 4 marks, 4 clearances, 3 goal, 1. He was the man of the match without doubt. And of course, the reason why the Magpies got up and over the line, he was absolutely instrumental in the plays there today for the Magpies. Jacob Hopper had a good game there for the Tigers with 33, 4 clearances. Josh Dacos ended up with 30 touches. That's exactly what Kong was after, 30 touches for him. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Lipinski ended up on 18. Tom Mitchell, 29. Sonsave Loston, 28-25 for both of them. We'll just quickly roll down these as we go. Maynard, Darcy Cameron, both on 20. Luke Traynor for the Tigers on 19. And as we see there, Lipinski ended up with 18. Unfortunately, we were looking for 19, ended up with 18. Pies have been so dominant in the early part of the season. Worried about informed teams peaking in the finals. Yeah, look, I think, the Pies structure was absolutely sensational for all the season, maybe apart from the last 2 to 3 games. They certainly dropped off a little bit, just took it easy against the Gold Coast where they got beat. There we go. It was about 60 plus disposals for the Magpies. 43 inside 50s for the match for the Tigers, 56 for the Magpies. There we go. Disposal efficiency wasn't too bad for both teams, 72.9, 74. Free kicks, Richmond had the better, 19-13. They were plus 6 there. They got on top in the hit-outs. They were plus 8 in the hit-outs. Pies on top in the clearances, only by 3. The Tigers did a good job there. It was just plus 2 in the centre and 1 around the grounds. Contested possessions, both teams contested reasonably well, 139, 133, plus 6 to the Maggies. Uncontested, the Maggies were plus 15. As I said, it was a reasonably high turnover game, not the smoothest by both sides there. but you do have that. The marks, reasonably high marking game today. 12 to 11 marks inside 50. Tigers did reasonably well there. They were +1 on the marks inside 50 and the contested marks. Looking at the tackles, as we were saying earlier, Paul and M. King, they need to lift their intensity, their pressure. They'll right down at half time and still well below what we expect from the Maggies in their defensive tackles. Only 57, well under season average of 67. Tigers also 39. Put a lot of speed on the ball, the Tigers. Just ran out of puff in that final term. +18 in the tackle count, but still not good enough for the Magpies, especially when they come up against the informed top sides. They really need to lift that. Tackles inside 50, both teams down on that as well. Looking at the live ladder, there we go now. Collingwood regains top position as we go into round 21 next week. They'll certainly need that playing the Brisbane Lions. I'm not sure who Adelaide Crows play next week. I didn't quite have a look at that, but there we go. Collingwood back on top. A game and a half clear now of Brisbane Lions, so that is good. Even if they lose next week, they'll still remain second on the ladder. Tough games coming. The Pies certainly need to win at least a couple of those games going into the finals. GWS and Fremantle in good form. Yeah, they're going all right. GWS, I'm still not convinced about. Fremantle, I still think they're pretenders at the moment. I still think Fremantle are definitely just making up the top 8 for a little bit of decoration. The Giants, look, they could be a little bit the same. On any given day, the Giants can do pretty well. But yeah, look, I think it really comes down to Collingwood, Adelaide, Geelong for possibly the flag this year. And look, I probably wouldn't write off Gold Coast Suns just at the moment. Their form is just really starting to be solid at the moment. It just depends if they can do that away from home on the big stage. That's where the Gold Coast Suns still need to improve. But I think it could come down to Collingwood, Adelaide or Geelong. Geelong have got the most easy run going home into the finals. But of course, the issue with Geelong is they play all teams outside of the top 8, where Collingwood, Adelaide still have tough games to come, which will stand them in good form for the finals to get their hunger and intensity, keep applying in their game for the finals, which is just fantastic. But there we go. Another good win by the Magpies. It was just a workmanlike game from them. A few errors. Look, a lot of things still to clean up in the Collingwood game. And thank goodness they got a couple of good teams. They've got to play against running into the finals so they can hopefully fix some of that up. And then when the finals start, we know the finals are a whole different ball game. The pressure lifts tenfold come the finals game. So it's going to be, I tell you what, it's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding finals this year. Look, any teams could possibly win it, but I think I brought it back down to just 3 teams possible that could probably win the flag. I think I know Collingwood's probably the flag favourites, but after seeing the performance yesterday, I wouldn't surprise me if Adelaide Crows go favourite for the flag this year. They were good. They are in fine form. They're doing everything right, the Adelaide Crows, but it's going to be a fascinating last 4 games of the home and away season. And it's going to be a super interesting finals campaign for all once they hit there. Hey, all right, folks, I just want to, just a score check for the other game. Melbourne 78 lead St Kilda 40. They're 8 minutes into the third term. So we might cross over there in a moment and just cover the last quarter and a half of that game. What's the live ladder? That is the live ladder right there. That's the live ladder right there. We've got Collingwood sitting on top on 60 points. Adelaide Crows second, 56 points. Brisbane Lions third, 54. Then we've got Geelong, Hawthorn, the Giants and Fremantle all sitting on 52 points. Gold Coast Suns 48. Remember, they still have an extra game to play, and the Western Bulldogs on 9th, 44. So Western Bulldogs are pretty much 2 games out, because you would imagine Gold Coast will beat Essendon. I think they're playing that in the final game. So I believe, but we'll still wait and see when they play that. But yeah, look, top 4 positions are still up for grabs for anyone. Brisbane, especially if Brisbane Lions lose next week to Collingwood, that'll certainly open the gates for Geelong, Hawthorn, GWS and Fremantle to climb that ladder into third, possibly second. So, well, definitely into third. Adelaide have got that big percentage now. They put on about 7% last night. They're up to 146%. So that's huge. That is huge, and that's going to be vitally important at the end of the home and away season, especially if they're level pegging on points. But yeah, third spot, fourth spot, top 4, all up for grabs. I think definitely third down to 7th could possibly change. Third to 8th, anyone from 3 to 8 could finish top 4. That's a fascinating point. In the last 4 games, it's really going to be interesting to see how this ladder forms over the next 4 games, and then who plays who in the finals. I tell you what, it could come down to the last round. Where you're sitting on the ladder. If you want to win the final game of the home and away season, to who you might play in the first week of the finals, that could be interesting. It really could be interesting. All right, folks. Hey, that's all I've got for this game. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. And thanks, Kong Nguyen, for the super sticker, the super chat. Really appreciate that. Unfortunately, yeah, Lipinski was on 18-19. You needed that, I think, for your collect on your bet today. So hopefully next time. Bulldogs. Bulldogs have got a good percentage. But they're a game behind the Suns, 2 games behind Fremantle, and the Suns have still got that extra game to play. So it could come down to, the Bulldogs could still get in there. It just depends on what Freo, the Giants, and happens to Hawthorn. I think Geelong Cats are Monties to be in there. They've got teams all in outside of the top 8 to play. I think Geelong will win every game up until the end of the season. So, oh, yeah, look, you just never know. Look, even Brisbane could fall out of the top 8. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens over the coming 4 weeks and how it chops and changes. But for today, for all those Magpie supporters out there, you get to breathe a sigh of relief back on top of the ladder in what seemed to be a testing game up until half-time. They got the job done. With still a lot of improvement required from the Magpies, but you can only win. So let's hope next week they bring their A game when they play Brisbane. I think that's next Saturday night. All right, folks. Hey, thanks everyone for jumping on here into the coverage. I will say over and out for this game. We'll go and cover the Melbourne St Kilda game for the last quarter over there at Marvel Stadium. All right, folks. Hey, thanks again for everyone for coming on in. So until next time, ciao for now. And we'll see you at the next game.